All right. Good evening, people out there in, I guess it's YouTube land because we're not technically on television. Welcome to this week's episode of This Week Unloaded. It's kind of redundant. But anyway, tonight on the panel we have Mr. Kingpin himself. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. What's up for me?
Not too. No. I can't tell. I'm losing my mind. Not much. Not much going on. We got Rob D just popping in. How are you tonight, Rob?
Doing all right. How's it going, fellas?
About the usual. So, I know Kingpin probably knows a little bit about the situation, but what do you guys know about the whole DC statehood thing? And do you know much about it, or?
No. Sorry.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was just saying, no, I don't know much about it.
They've been trying to do it for a long time. It's not like it's new. I mean, are they closer now or something like that, or what's the deal?
We'll get that in a minute. First, I want to introduce Guns and Barbecue on the Night Barbecue.
You're interrupting WrestleMania.
I'm not even watching it. I didn't give a shit about any of it this year.
No.
So, nope. I just have not cared about WrestleMania this year. I haven't watched WWE since last year. I just haven't been. The whole Cody thing and everything, I just don't give a shit.
Gosh. Anyways.
Anyway, what do you know about the DC Statehood barbecue? Anything? Their push for that?
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they want it because that'll get them 2 more senators. They've been trying it for what, 2 decades at least. It goes nowhere, luckily, but it's not something I get super worried about.
So sorry, go ahead.
I just finished it with yeah.
Okay. But yeah, not only would they get 2 more senators, but they'd probably get a handful of people in the House too. So,
yeah, I'm not sure how many people they get in the House. I just knew for sure the 2 senators, but it's probably at least a handful in the House, given DC's population.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason why I'm even bringing this up is I was telling Kingpin, I don't know if Rob was in here yet or not, but the other day somebody, I forget, I don't even know who, sent me this fact sheet put out by the city of Washington, no less, about why they want statehood. And just about every bullet point they have in this facts is unconstitutional, or is in violation of the Constitution, or admits to something that DC is currently doing that is in violation of the Constitution. Pull that up. Oh, good, Rob.
He's not even really supposed to be like a live-in city, from my understanding.
No, it's not.
I seems like kind of a strange thing.
Yeah, it was only supposed to be the governmental district, the Capitol building, their offices, the monuments, possibly a museum, which was set up with the Smithsonian, and the White House. That was it.
Yep.
Right? So let me pull out this bullet point presentation of facts that they have up here real quick so people can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we got the frequently asked questions about statehood for the people of DC. What is Washington, D.C.? And the very first bullet point just is going to can be used to destroy their entire argument, by the way, going forward. So Washington, D.C. is not a state. It is a district. D.C. stands for District of Columbia. Its creation comes directly from the U.S. Constitution. Remember that point right there. That is what this whole argument hinges on and why they are wrong. And it goes on to say, which provides that the district not exceeding 10 miles square, in other words, 10 square miles. So we'll come back to that too. That's another important aspect because they already are violating that. And would become the seat of the government for the United States, yada yada. And created in 1790 from parts of Maryland and Virginia, and under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Congress, specifically the House of Representatives. The Speaker of the House is technically supposed to act as the mayor for the city of Washington, D.C., with the rest of the House of Representatives being the city council. Okay, everybody follow along so far? Not real complicated, right? They go on to say that, oh, sorry, good.
Just answering your question there. Saying correct.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, it says that they're already operating as a state with functions as a city and county, which, technically speaking, their city government should not exist. But one could argue that Congress delegated their authority to them. Yeah, that's a gray area, to be perfectly honest with you, but it could be argued to that point. It says they're treated as a state in more than 500 federal laws, so is the rest of the country, so are territories. What's the point there? I don't know. In a region of 4 million people, it says, and growing. So yeah, they would get a couple of at least people in the House if this were to go through. And they go through and say, oh, we got this, this, and this, so that should make us a state. Somebody else popping in. What else we got here? We got Faust. How are you tonight, Faust?
I'm doing all right.
So we're discussing the whole push for DC statehood. How much do you know about it?
I know DC is supposed to be neutral ground.
Right. That's specifically why it's not a state from the beginning, because it's supposed to be neutral ground. And they go on, we're looking at the facts that the city of Washington themselves put up as to why they should be a state. The people of Washington, D.C. deserve the same rights as people in 50 states enjoy. Yeah, okay. And they're required the obligations of paying taxes, voting, and serving on juries and in the military. Point of order, there is no obligation to serve in the U.S. military currently because we do not have a draft. Everybody who is currently in the United States military is there because they volunteered to be. There is no obligation to serve in the military. So right there, they're wrong on that point as well. And they complain about not for over 200 years not having a voice in the government. And here's the big thing. Remember what we said earlier about how DC was created by act of Constitution, right? So the first thing they go and say on how they will become a state, statehood will be achieved by the House and Senate passing and the president signing legislation admitting the new state. Statehood legislation, which requires a simple majority vote, wrong, and cannot be repealed, is the way that every state except for the original 13 became part of the United States. And here's where they screw up. What did they say in the very first bullet point? That Washington, D.C. was created by the Constitution, meaning that For Washington, D.C. to become a state, the Constitution would have to be changed. That is not done by a simple vote of the House and Senate or by the president signing. I'm sure one of you guys knows what is the process for amending the Constitution, fellas. I know one of you guys has to know this. Come on.
What did you say?
Constitutional Congress.
Sorry, I was on another page.
One,
Convention of the States,
that's
or
one way.
what? 66% of the vote in House and Senate.
And
I forget the third part.
75% of the states have to ratify it.
Oh yes.
How many people in here, show of hands, which nobody can see anyway, think that 75% of the states are going to vote to admit Washington, D.C. as a state?
Nope.
Ain't going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Let's hypothetically say a Democrat congressman or senator brought this to committee, and then let's say it passed at a committee and made it to the floor. It's not going to pass anyways.
I don't even think it would make it out of committee, to be perfectly honest with you.
Like I said, I was going, severe hypotheticals here. Let's say it made it out of committee, because I don't think it would make it out of committee either.
And going back to the part earlier where it states they freely admit that Washington, D.C. is only supposed to be 10 square miles. Anybody want to take a guess how big it is currently?
20 square miles.
You're off. It's higher.
10 million.
No, not quite that much. It's not the sun, Kingpin.
1,075.
No, not quite that high. Okay. It has
already
140.
no. The mandate is 10 square miles. Maximum size. Washington, D.C. currently has a footprint of 68.35 square miles.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, it's almost 7 times what the Constitution set the limit at.
Yeah, but I honestly just thought it was bigger.
Well, that's because you got all the suburbs right there.
Maybe it's
right.
just because just taking the 495 loop all those times, which I realized the 495 loop is quite a bit larger than DC.
Yeah,
but I was making the the mistake of thinking of the Beltway rather than just DC.
Right. But still, 68 point, what did I say? 68.35 square miles is not a small space.
No.
They've outgrown what the Constitution says they're supposed to be. Where did they get the land to do it?
Eminent domain.
Solid.
It's just, now we got, Jason Stewart popping in. Hey, Jason, how are you doing?
I'm sure he has a link. He should be in here.
Hey guys,
He
good to
isn't.
see you, man.
Snap.
It's been a little bit, man. I missed you. I wanted to hop in.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man.
How things going, Jason?
They're doing pretty good today. We're doing a lot better today.
Cool.
So I heard you guys talking about DC.
Yep, that's what we're talking about.
Is it gonna become a state, or are they just trying once again?
Oh, they're never going to stop trying. I got somebody sent me the list of the facts about why they think they should be a state, and that would be something interesting that we could go over.
Oh, okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
do they even really try? Yeah, because again, when Rich asked me, barbecue, what do you know? And like I said, to the best of my knowledge, what, 2 decades at least that this has been a talking point. But to the best of my knowledge, that's all it's really been is a talking point. And I think, when it's convenient for them, they bring it up. But that's all it ever is brought up. And, like right now we're in election season. So let's bring it up, drum up our bass a little bit, make some noise, things like that. And then it's going to go nowhere. It serves as a distraction and nothing more.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it turns into. But
How many people did you say live there?
4 million and change.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was that many.
Yeah. And like we were talking earlier, it's not supposed to be that big. There's not supposed to be that many people living there. Everybody that's supposed to be working in the city was designed where they would live either across the Potomac in Virginia or to the north in Maryland. And somehow Washington, D.C.'s city limits have unconstitutionally grown to encompass even a larger chunk from Maryland. Because if you look on the map, that's where D.C.'s grown. It's not growing to the south into Virginia. It's growing north into Maryland.
They're trespassing, Kingpin. Plain old-fashioned trespassing.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah.
DC Statehood's also a good fundraiser. Every couple of years they can bring it up around election time and make a bunch of millions of dollars to steal from people.
And
what if I could chime in a little bit about your subject? I've kind of thought about this other times when they brought it up. I could be totally wrong. I have no education on the District of Columbia's final details of things, but I also wonder, like, then people talk about their license plates say no taxation without representation, and they're crying and everything. I often wondered, like, do you people really realize like you couldn't afford to be a state? Or I think their taxes would probably skyrocket, because I'm not sure of the details. It could be wrong of how they actually exist. But when you're a state, the state's now responsible for everything. Roads, security, workers, pensions, just name it, just like everything. And like, I would have to think that people are crying about things unfair. I just kind of believe if you did become a state, it's probably going to cost you so much money and your taxes go up that you're not going to be happy then. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how they get their funding and what they're responsible for, but states have pretty big budgets because they got to fund, endless number of, programs and things. And I just don't know if a small thing like DC could actually handle that burden.
it would essentially create a city state. Like going back to ancient Greece where, Athens and Sparta and all them were all little city states. That's essentially what they want Washington, D.C. to be.
They've got two economic levels in DC. Either you're rock solid poor or you're super rich. There's no such thing as a middle class in DC or even a lower class. You're either completely at the bottom or you're way at the top.
Mm. Oh yeah, you get outside the governmental district in DC and it's a shithole.
Yeah, we have cities here that's about how it follows. you're either very comfortable or you're struggling. There's not really any in between.
There's a real easy way for them to fix this too. If these people want their representation, retract the city back to its original borders and put the other part of it that they took back into Maryland where it belongs. That's it. That's all I need to do. But they don't want that because it doesn't give them the representation in the Senate and the House.
I still say no to that because no matter what, DC is supposed to be neutral ground.
Yes, but DC's got. I'm saying, yeah, I get what you're saying, Barbecue. But my point was, take the part that they grew beyond with the 10 square miles that was mandated as a maximum, and give that back to Maryland where it's supposed to be.
And I understand what you're saying there, but I'm still on the grounds of no matter what, DC is supposed to be neutral ground, and if you were to choose to live inside those grounds, then you're making the choice to, okay, you know, there's no statehood here.
Yeah. Again, all these people aren't supposed to be living there. Washington, D.C. was not set up as a residential district. That's not what it was. You know, if you really want to get down to it, constitutionally, there's only one residence that's supposed to exist in the city of Washington, D.C. in and of itself. And that's what at the time when they just called the presidential mansion, and now we know it as the White House. That's it.
Rich, you don't have to get all racial about somebody's residence.
Oh, I mean, what do you expect from a rich white guy?
I'm sorry, it wasn't racist at all. Rich, it's not like that. It's more like his family's house, right? The White House.
I actually put that on my answering machine on our landline.
Thank you for reaching to the White House.
Yeah. So you have reached the White House. Nobody's available to take your call at this time. Please leave your name and message at the tone, and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. My mother-in-law said, "Man, you sound like a smart ass putting that message on there," because it's been on our answering machine forever.
So you still got a landline?
Yeah, we still have a landline because she needed it for work. They're doing away with that requirement since they've been taken over by UPMC, so I don't know how much longer we're going to keep the landline.
So, while we're on the topic of DC, because this one gets tossed out every now and then, of the capital being moved to Iowa.
Huh? So, move it to Iowa?
Huh? Why?
So the capital is in the center of the country.
Yeah, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, Iowa, there's nothing there. It would only be the capital and then nothing else. So, corn.
Missouri would be a better state, I would think, if you want to go to that area.
Atlantis would be a great place for our capital right now, buddy. Put the whole thing underwater.
It already is.
Well, even still, why do we need anything there?
Well, in one sense, I mean, if the capital got attacked, there wouldn't be a lot of civilian casualties if it was in the middle of Iowa.
I know, but we would lose a lot of bacon. Let's say Iowa's one of our, actually, I think it's our largest pig producer in the country.
Somewhere else, then. Maybe California.
Yeah, a lot of grain too comes out of Iowa.
Could you imagine how fast the government would destroy that state if they moved the capital to Iowa?
Oh my God.
In a year's time, Iowa would be like the worst place on the planet to live.
Yeah.
In a year's time, every other business in Iowa will be a pizza shop. And the pizza shops that people like you and I wouldn't buy a pizza at.
Now, Defense Stat said the center of the country is actually in Kearney, Nebraska. He said there's a marker for some 1,733 estates. It's 1,733 miles from that point to both the east and west coasts. All right, boom, put the Capitol building right there, right dead center of the country. In a way, barbecue has a point. If you remember, if you think back to why Washington, D.C. is where it is, it's because at that point there was only the 13 states along the East Coast. Now, Nebraska being dead center of the U.S. in that spot, it's going to make it a hell of a lot harder for anybody to hit it with a missile or whatnot.
Man, them
In
Russians,
theory.
the Russians and the Chinese got the hypersonic missiles. They put it anywhere you want. They can whack that thing anytime they want.
No, it's not the Russians or Chinese we got to worry about. It's the North Koreans.
And the
Yeah.
Iranians.
It's the Americans we got to worry about.
What was that, Kingpin?
I said it's the Americans we have to worry about.
Mm.
But yeah, I've heard it thrown out there before. I'm not sure who the heck it was that had mentioned it. It was years ago. But I was like, what? And when I heard it, I was like, oh, that, I could understand it. The idea of having the capital centralized, that way, anybody on the West Coast had an equal drive to anybody on the East Coast. It's not, if you're on the West Coast, you got to go all the way across the country.
Yeah, that's why back in the day, the call to quorum for the Senate, you had like a week to 10 days to get there because you'd have people going from California by train before that stagecoach
Yep.
to get to Washington, D.C. if there was a vote called. And they had to give them time for the message to get there via telegraph or, just a runner at that point before there was even a telegraph. I mean, you got to figure, even if we're only talking somebody riding their horse down to Georgia to get the message out to all of the members of the House of Representatives from Georgia at that point in time, that's a lot of people. So it's going to take time for all those people to get the message and get assembled and get out to up to DC. Yeah. By the way, Gary's saying don't put the Capitol in the plains. They don't want all those morons out there. Touche. Yeah.
But we don't want them over here either.
No, not really. No. Can we send them to Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico wants to be a state.
No, they don't. They keep voting it down. The government of Puerto Rico wants them to be a state. The people of Puerto Rico, when it comes up for vote, keep voting it down.
Well, see, that works though. The government wants it. So, like, we put all the politicians that want, DC to be a state down in Puerto Rico with the politicians down there that want to be a state, and they all get to whine about wanting to be a state, and then nothing happens anyways. It's a win-win.
Yeah, so I said Puerto Rico doesn't want to be a state, so make them the new capital district.
No. Just send all the people down to Puerto Rico that want DC statehood and Puerto Rico statehood, and let them become their own country, and then we can invade it and bomb the hell out of them.
Well, here's where the people of Puerto Rico don't get it, or the government of Puerto Rico doesn't get it, and apparently the people do. They have more. I know the territory is corrupt as hell, but essentially Puerto Rico is just another country that belongs to the United States. because they are technically a commonwealth. They're not even a full territory. They're a commonwealth, which gives them self-governance. It's just that place is corrupt as all hell.
So DC is actually supposed to be 100 square miles. It's 10 miles square, which is 10 by 10.
Right.
So it's 100 square miles. So DC is currently 68 square miles.
Hold on, let me check that.
It's in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution.
Be interesting to see, just because remember they worded things differently back then.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Because it starts out, it says the not to exceed 10 square miles. And then near the end, it says 100 miles squared.
Well, if you got 10 square miles, that's going to be a square that's a mile and a mile, so that's 2 miles right
No,
there.
it's
Yeah, it'd be
no, that's not the way it works. 10 miles square is 10 by 10. 10 square miles is 100.
And they have it worded as both.
No, miles square and squared miles are two different things.
I don't have that pulled up. I thought you said that they had it worded both ways. That's what was all I'm saying, asking. So I don't have the Constitution pulled up right now.
It's similar to how you estimate a roof by squares.
Right, you got the area of the roof.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I think I said 10 miles squared and 100. I meant 10 miles squared and 10 squared miles are different because 10 miles squared is 100 square miles.
Yes.
Well, I'm looking at Google, and the top thing they pulled up, they have it 68.3 miles squared, but then they also say it's 68.34 square miles. So, which is it? If those are two different dimensions, which dimension there is correct?
Well, I'm telling you what the Constitution says.
Yeah, no, I'm talking. I know what you're saying. I'm saying the measurement that Google has for Washington D.C. says it both as being miles squared and then square miles, and saying the same number for both of those. So, which one of those numbers that Google is throwing out is the right one?
Google's making it, difficult because obviously, they're CIA. They ought to go.
Enjoy the show, people. It's going to get striked for misinformation.
Wouldn't be the first time. And then the government came out and said everything we said, and I still have the permanent warning up, even though apparently everything we said wasn't actually misinformation. And they won't take the strike off the record either. That's expired. It still sits there on the record that we had it. So yeah, there's that too.
You're marked for life.
Mm-hmm.
How did the knife bracket go last night, boss?
It was good. Folding knife won. There were some tough matchups, like the K-Bar went up against, I think,
Bowie.
was it against the Bowie knife in like the quarterfinals?
Was it the quarter? No, it was semis.
Was it semis?
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
because it was going to be at the start, but then everybody voted to mix them up, so that didn't happen. So, but it ended up happening later. So there were some good matchups.
It was odd, though. I think people were looking at it differently. You guys were looking at it one way. Barbecue was looking at it another. You know, he's talking about picking teeth with his Bowie knife and stuff. And I don't know. Depending on how you look, I think Bar should have made it further. That's all I'm saying.
For picking your teeth, you need an Arkansas toothpick. But well, I tend to keep it a little more open to interpretation rather than being strict on this is the way you have to vote.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Hillbilly had said something. I don't remember what he said. He mentioned picking something, and I was like, "Oh, well, if you're gonna pick something, you pick your teeth with a Bowie knife."
You know, those little skinny black knives he gives away, they make a good toothpick.
Those are dangerous.
I think Hillbilly was referring to that Swiss Army knife. You know, the one you lost your toothpick on and threw away because you only bought it for a toothpick.
I said toothpick and tweezers. As long as you still got the tweezers, it's still half useful.
If
But
you
once you lose the tweezers too,
if you put them away when you're done, you don't lose them.
that's right.
That's what I was like. Grown-ass men shouldn't be losing stuff like that.
Nope.
You know, that's what killed me with Squib and Cash. I'd lose it. Like, dude, if you're 3 years old, you should wear Velcro sneakers and get crossed across the street.
Now Moo's out there, and he has a question for Snob. He wants Snob to answer what the best knife to use to scratch your foot is.
It's probably whatever one he's holding.
In Snob's case, yeah, probably. But we need to go back through and say hello to the audience because we ain't done that yet because we got right into the topic. First, out there in the chat and also here on the panel was Kingpin. Then Ashley A was out there. And Woods. And let's see, Boomstick's Revenge. Defense Dad's out there. Ron Wayne's watching. The aforementioned Gun Snob. Gizzard Gary. Krabby Turtle. Foss obviously is out there and in here. Buck is out there. Jason Stewart out there and in here. 223 DMR is out there. And Moo, which we've already mentioned, and the chat just jumped on me, but I think that's everybody. So, evening, everybody. If I missed you, just say something and somebody will notice and call you out, I guess, maybe.
If Rich missed you, it just means you don't matter to him.
Well, the chat jumped, so I'm not sure how far back I was when it jumped.
You're not rich enough to say your name.
I think I got everybody. I'm pretty sure I got everybody. No, Ozzy's out there. I missed Ozzy. That's who I missed. So that's everybody. I was going back and checking.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
What the hell is that cat doing? I don't know if you guys can hear, but they're going nuts or something.
Are you guys ready for tomorrow?
I couldn't care less.
I'm ready, Jason.
Man, I got like they're predicting from 100 to 200,000 people are coming here to my little town tomorrow.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They've been talking about it in local news about all the Airbnbs are booked throughout the path. hotels are like there might be a big scam thing going on. I guess, yeah, lots of people booked hotels prior, and now they're all saying they double booked. But so, of course, the people that booked ahead of time with a cheaper rate don't get the room.
Yeah. Where I'm at, we're on the most perfect. We're on the perfect line for the most totality. It's a total hour. They're saying that, but if you come to where I'm at, you're going to see it for more minutes than anywhere else. We're on the most perfect path for it, man. And a couple weeks ago, we had a real bad tornado. It took out an entire town here that was built on the lake. Every house, I mean, an entire little community got took out. So, like, most of them are in the hotels and motels. Motel 6 kicked out all the people from the tornado victims so they could get $900 a day for the rooms from the eclipse people. So you guys just remember that if you have to choose where to stay, the Motel 6 people doesn't seem to be very good people or a good company. If they throw whole victim families out to the streets so they could make $800 extra for one day, that's pretty low life.
Wait, Motel 6 in your area is $100 a night?
Yeah, except for tomorrow.
What?
Tomorrow it's 900.
Jesus Christ. Most places I've looked at where we were looking for a hotel somewhere, Motel 6 was like $50 a night.
Oh, no, son. I would even want to go to the big cities here, but like 125, 150, that's about one night for like a one bed room here. Always.
Damn. That's crazy for a Motel 6.
Yeah, I know. What traveling I've been able to do last few years, like I'm amazed at like hotel prices someplace else. That's like 20-year ago prices here.
They started out at $6. That's why they're Motel 6.
Oh, really?
$6. Huh. Yeah.
I've seen advertisements for like $50, but I've never gotten a room for $50 at one of those places. I think the cheapest was like 75 or something like that.
Yeah, if you get a room here with a hot tub, you're looking at 200, maybe 250.
Well, if those guys would have turned off the friggin' light, they'd have saved on the electric bill. It'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Jason's getting the room with the hot tubs and the hookers.
Uh-huh.
That's my room,
I don't know if I'd want the room with the hot tub at a Motel 6, man. You don't know what's causing them bubbles in that tub.
I don't know. I mean, I'll just skim the top of it first.
All I can suggest is if you use bubble bath, like less than half a cap full. Just a suggestion.
We're going to hear this story, Jason. Finish.
Oh, well, it's just pure science, man. You pour a normal amount of bubble bath in a hot tub, and it foams up like you poured a whole jug in your washing machine. So you have to be careful with it. A little bit goes a long way.
What was the hooker name? Bubbles?
No, but that would be a cute name for one.
Right?
Yeah. I'm not really into the hookers. I'm in for the more of the attracted to the evil, hateful bitches that tell you they love you.
No, honestly, if a chick named Bubbles, I'd be too afraid to piss her off, mainly because of the old Powerpuff Girls cartoon, because they would all be adults by now. So,
I don't know, man. I think Bubbles is kind of a cute name.
Yeah, but if you piss her off, she's gonna fry you with her eye beams.
My favorite episode is when the monkey beat the shit out of all three of them.
Mojo Jojo was the greatest cartoon.
Mojo Jojo, yeah. Mojo Jojo.
I think Bubbles is okay, but I'd avoid any of them named Tiffany.
Is there a story there, Rob?
Nope. I ain't got shit to say.
No, there's definitely a story there. Spill it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a story there.
Uh-huh.
He's just probably afraid to tell it because he might have somebody standing behind him with a rolling pin.
Uh-huh. Tell us all about breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Tiffany's, would you?
That kid that just magically showed up.
Did you have breakfast at Tiffany's?
I think he had Tiffany for breakfast, is what he's hinting at.
And dessert. And Tiffany salad.
One expensive lunch.
Yeah, it's been big news around here. All the highway signs are talking about it. Prepare ahead of time. Expect delay.
About Tiffany?
No, about the eclipse thing.
You know, notice how Rob tries changing the subject?
Yeah, we're preparing for everything here too. Like, we're going to probably have cell phone outages, traffic jams. I know through the inside of people uptown, like, everybody got their vacation time canceled. All the police and sheriffs are on duty. All the nurses, the hospitals, everything's at full staff. They're like preparing to make sure nothing crazy happens.
They're actually locked down in jails here, all the prisons and stuff. No visitation. Everybody's supposed to be locked in their cells, all that type of stuff throughout the duration of it. So,
Well, there was a lawsuit over that, and
Yeah.
can't remember if it was in New York.
Yeah, it
And
was New York.
The prisoners won.
Yep.
So they get to watch the eclipse.
I think it was 6 inmates at it was either a jail or prison up there in New York. My wife had Fox News in the car earlier when we had to go pick up a couple of things, and they were talking about how these 6 inmates sued the facility on get this, religious grounds for watching the eclipse.
Yeah, I heard that, religious grounds. I caught a little bit. I think our prisoners here, they like delivered like thousands of glasses to the prisons, but I don't think they were free. I think they got to pay for them.
they got to pay for everything in the prisons, like even a freaking pillow, dude. You would think like prisons are supposed to be hell, but some of this stuff is ridiculous. Like you literally got to pay to have a pillow. Haircuts, got to pay for them. Like it's pretty nuts.
We had to pay for them in the military, Rob.
Yeah, I bitched about that too, because I'd easily buy a pair of clippers. Like my hair is really easy, and you pay for it, and they screw up on purpose.
Uh-huh.
What kind of socialist are you?
Hey, I'm
I don't
cheap.
know,
Why do I
I don't
gotta
know.
pay the dude every week when I could just buy a set myself and do it? Shit, I can make money on the side doing it. You know what I mean? But nah,
Yeah.
'cause at least I'd cut it all.
Yeah, there was a guy when I was in basic. He bought a pair of clippers from the PX, the exchange, when we went to go resupply. And did he get smoked when the drill instructors caught him with those? You weren't allowed to cut your own hair.
Not through basic anyway. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yep. If you got caught with anything like that in basic, you were in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, I would think like basic things like a pillow, a haircut, a razor before court would be provided, in a sense. Nah, I don't know, but basically everything's marked up, high prices. So that's the way jails are going now, or prisons. So, but on the other hand, they're spoiled as hell. I mean, you can get clothing allowances, wear shoes, watches, jewelry, all types of shit. Like, which I don't think it should be, man. Like, yeah, I think that's ridiculous. You know, radios, all type TVs. You can get all type shit in jail.
Yep. When I remember when my stepfather first went to prisons, when they started letting them have TVs in their cells, it's like, what? It's still not as bad as like over in Europe, though. Yeah. Remember when that dude went nuts and he shot up that Muslim summer camp, or was it over in Norway? Like 10 years or whatever ago, however long ago that was. I was watching, I forget what channel it was on. They had this documentary about prison conditions in Europe, right? And they were showing this guy's actual cell in the facility he was in. Dude had a freaking PlayStation and Xbox in his prison cell. His own little kitchen in his prison cell.
Yeah, it's crazy. Apparently, they say that if you, I don't know if you finished watching that or whatever, but apparently their numbers are a lot better than ours. So, on more of a recovery aspect, but yeah, you're not slammed in there with a bunch of other people that are worse or equal, all scheming, plans to con money out of people from the outside. So, I don't know. Like, it's definitely not changing people. In my opinion, you get worse. You go into prison, you're going to get worse. You have to survive. And I don't think you can switch and make that stop on your release date.
Yeah, but if you guys haven't seen what I'm talking about, this guy's prison cell, if it was an apartment in New York City, it would have been a few $1,000s a month apartment. No joke. No joke at all. He had a bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room. And they call that a prison cell.
It's crazy stuff, man. Some of these cases here, prisoners are living better than some people out, you can say, out in the street, or compared to the poorest of poor. They're living better than that.
Yeah, it's like this guy got a sheet every day that he put what groceries he wanted delivered that day from the facility's commissary. And he would just make up whatever he wanted for breakfast, whatever he wanted for lunch, and whatever he wanted for dinner for himself right there in his own little kitchen. Didn't have to go and eat with everybody else. Didn't have communal showers or anything like that.
I don't know, same type of show, somewhere over there, I don't know, South America or whatever. They got it set up to where if you go to prison, they keep you fairly local. And the reason being is you only live through it if your family brings you food and clothing. And you can visit daily if somebody shows up to visit and feed you. Other than that, you don't really survive long because they're not paying for it. And personally, I'd like to go that route here. I don't want my tax money paying for people to get even worse and then come out and create more problems and back in and back out and back in and back out. I'd just rather, person call me cold hearted or whatever, but I don't want to pay for this shit. Don't want to pay for that. Don't want to pay for rehab. Don't want to pay for the junkies of any form. Don't want to pay for Narcan. I'll pay for my own problems whenever I feel like helping out with. So, my personal opinion, if you're that shitty of a person and nobody will show up for you, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know.
Got TVs and radios and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're all getting high in jail. New drugs going around. Crazy shit.
Yeah. Throw them all in Supermax.
Shit, Rob, the nursing homes sound an awful lot like that jail, buddy. They really do.
I
Except the
think so.
jail's probably better, and the nursing home will treat you like that, plus give you a bill for like literally $100,000.
After they take
Ozzy, good. Sorry, Rob. But what were you gonna say?
I was just saying they give you that bill after they take your home and assets.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll pay for some of it, but they don't pay you. Well, literally, my mom's nursing home is like your $50 motels, and it's $270 a day every day. That's $99,000 a year.
Damn.
And insurance pays, get this, 4 days at a time. Then it has to be doctor reviewed and faxed in to get them to approve another 4 days. Each time they do that, there's a gap. 2 days, 1 day, 2 days. Well, I have to write a check for that gap.
Damn.
Ozzy out there says need to go back to work farms. At one point in this country, when they first started the prison systems, they were all basically what Supermax is today.
Which
And I just saw a show about a prison. I think it's in, could be New York or New Hampshire. It's nothing but a foundation now, but it was America's very first prison. And they were telling a story. Granted, this would be probably before we were established, because it was General George Washington, not President George Washington. He would have soldiers sent to, or, I assume soldiers. He had people sent to that prison without a trial or anything. He was judge, jury, conviction all on his own. And I just got done seeing a show about that. The only thing they got left is the foundation.
No, this kind of started out as what Rich was talking about, as a penitentiary where you think about what you did wrong, and then we have moved to correctional facilities where they're supposed to be rehabilitated, but they're kind of big money making schemes now. So
If you go back to the Pennsylvania, it's called the Pennsylvania system of prisons, and it was championed by not George Washington. Jason got me thinking George Washington. Benjamin Franklin and Dr. Benjamin Rush, and basically they were the equivalent of what Supermax is. Your reading material was just like in Supermax, whatever religious text for the religion you belong to. That's what you had to read all day. You would go out and you would exercise by yourself for the most part. Bathing would be done. You would be in a little booth by yourself, no one to talk to or anything. Your meals would be delivered to your room. I mean, it's just like being in Supermax today.
Well,
And that
Supermax
was back.
isn't what you're thinking. Supermax today is a lot easier. I mean, that's where you're getting TVs, radios, clothing, jewelry allowances, all that type of shit. Now, you are locked in a room most of the day, but you do have a small cage on the outside so you can see outside, shit like that. You did get a timeout, what is it, yard or rec or whatever. I don't know, like a workout room. It's not technically outside. You got walls, but the roof's open. It's like a cage.
Oh, it is.
So
It is outside. It's
yeah,
like a cage.
yeah, but basically, it's not what you're picturing like the movies and shit. It's way nicer these days. The worst part of anything is really the other people. Is the dangerous part.
Midnight's out there. Hey, Midnight, long time no see, man.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Midnight. Yeah, definitely long time no see. Well, I'm glad I got to join in tonight.
I actually know somebody there now, so that's why I have some relatives or recent information on it all. So that is, like I said, crazy. Blows my mind that that's what they
Yeah,
call it.
yes, that's not what Supermax was supposed to be either. So Supermax, you had a little screen where you would watch church services on Sunday. That was the extent of TV you were allowed to have in Supermax.
Everything's got.
And when I say back in the day, I'm not even talking 10 years ago, folks.
Oh, back in yesterday.
Like, let's see, when did I graduate with my latest degree? 7 years ago. In 7 years, that Supermax has changed to where the point where Rob was saying it's crazy.
It is crazy. I don't know. Yeah. Well, the way the system is now, I mean, it fits right in. I mean, criminals just get arraigned, booked, and basically let the hell go these days. So, I mean, it's definitely not discouraging people, especially homeless, half crazy people that should be in, some type of medical system, kicked out on the street. Jail, prison's a lot better in some cases, maybe even safer than the streets.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, Rob. All right, I'm trying to be good. Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we need to reopen the asylum system. There are people that need to be under constant care for their mental disabilities. I mean, they're not able to care for themselves properly. They don't have the mental capacity to do so.
It's definitely a thing. I'd agree. I mean, it needs to be done better than it was prior, where husbands would say their wives are crazy just so they can get a clean divorce.
Right.
But there needs to be something though, because a lot of these people, even if they have family, their family shit. They just abuse them, take their check, don't feed them, don't give them clothes, like just a lot of their families are just shitty people, man. Like there should be something. There definitely should, because a lot of these people end up in jail and dead. I mean, I personally know one that's happened to. So, which was a whole debacle here, and nobody ended up getting in trouble, and it was investigations, all types of stuff. But it's just it's a shitty deal. It truly is. These people are they didn't do this because they chose to. Like the people with drugs, all the money we throw at rehab and all this bullshit and giving people 30 chances. These people came in this way. They never had the choice. So, I mean, it should be seen differently. But with that being said, just because you're a lazy son of a bitch and don't want to go to work and prefer to drink doesn't mean you should get a crazy check and live in a state facility either.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have something where this, psychiatrists and stuff, I guess if that's the best you're going to get, to verify that, this person has this issue. They need higher treatment than just being on the street and being given a drug that they may or may not take anyway. There's got to be some way, like Midnight said, a lot of them been cut loose, and it's not ethical or safe either for themselves or other people.
Very true. And it backs up the police system, because how many calls out of a day do they got to respond to a same person? Whether they're outside a store causing problems, in a store, trying to sleep in somebody's backyard, all this type of stuff. I mean, how much time and money's put into that versus what could be perceived as serious things as well. So, and how many of them are possibly, you know, shot, beat up, abused because we're not following commands or this or that, or, you know, just bad situations that occasionally happen to people that don't listen when you deal with the police. Yeah. So it's a lot of extra bullshit that really nobody needs. Yeah, we definitely need to start taking care of our own. Stop sending money overseas to all these other damn people.
Yeah. Instead of sending money to Ukraine for the umpteenth goddamn time, so that Zelensky can buy himself and his wife some fancy clothes and shit. You guys saw that one, right? Where his wife was going multi-million-dollar shopping spree in Paris
Nah,
after the
Whose wife?
we're in an interview.
Whose wife?
Zelensky, you know, the guy that's over in charge over in Ukraine. The last payment that we sent over to him right after his wife went on a big shopping spree in Paris, supposedly. Gary's asking, is he related to Wayne LaPierre? Maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Is she Wayne's new girlfriend or what?
Zelensky's a con artist. I mean, so, and a Nazi.
I thought all they wore was sweats. I mean, that's all that guy seems to show up in, right? Is a sweatshirt.
Oh, that's only when he's speaking to Congress. He's gone to other countries and he was wearing suits and shit. He comes over here, he only wears a tracksuit.
I don't know, man. So his wife went on a shopping spree, like even without our government aid or whatever you want to call it to him, whatever. Like he's a leader of a country, so he's like super rich, anyways, right? So
no,
well, whatever, man. Like the first lady of any country. I mean, like,
dude, you know what? You know what Zelensky was before. You know what he was before he became I guess they call him the president of the country? He was a stand-up fucking comedian.
Leader of the Workers' Party? Oh, I'm sorry.
He was a freaking stand-up comedian, and his big joke was him and his partner would act like they were playing a piano with their dicks. And apparently the people in Ukraine thought that was funnier than anything else they've ever seen.
It was if he was playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
No, I've seen clips. It was not funny.
I don't know, man. I just call it as I see it. I'll be fair, man. Like, if your old lady wants to go shopping at the store, you know, sometimes you just gotta let it go, man. I mean,
you don't do it with the foreign aid money.
It's one of them slippery slopes. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, man. So since we send him like billions, I'm really not going to lose sleep over $1 million, you know.
Gary asks, you mean like Yakov Smirnoff? No, Yakov Smirnoff was a hell of a lot funnier than what Zelensky is.
I don't know, those women shopping sprees, man. They can lead to problems sometimes. I think it's wise to put a limit out there. And you know, sometimes you could say, well, she's paying for it herself, and you know that's fine. But is she still going to have her cut on the rest of the stuff that's supposed to be due? You know, because a lot of times, you know, they just see sale and they're saving so much and don't realize what they got left. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. So
the previous comments are from a man that has a woman, and his comments are not necessarily reflect those of the other panelists.
Look, man, I can remember a time before Christmas where I had to send her ass back to the store to return a couple things, or else we were going to be eating ramen noodles for like a month because everything was on sale. So it was like cheap for it. Like, there is a limit. There is a limit. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying if she forgave you for that, she is an angel or a liar.
What if she's buying guns?
But
Yeah,
this
you
whole
could have pawned a gun for Christmas, man. So who's the real Grinch bad
Like
guy here?
religion or something, sacrilegious, whatever the hell. That's totally anti-gun.
You're too nice of a guy, Rob. Like you were talking earlier about square footage and figuring up a roof. It's 2024, man. You add 25% right off the top from your old bill, and then your life will be good.
Yeah, that's funny.
You just raise your prices, man. You're being too nice about stuff, man. It's not you can't be nice in this world no more, bro.
Yeah, you laugh.
It's feast or famine, man. You got to. It's the eye of the tiger, bud. It's the wolf and the lamb. Yeah, the days of being nice ain't over.
There's companies I sold for where that's pretty much how it went. But you'd roll up to their house and by what was outside, the vehicles, the properties next door, you'd already have your price already lined up by the time you went in. Whether there's bushes outside, makes the job more difficult, the roof's steeper, set on a hill where one side's a lot taller than the other, all that type of crap, also factors in. But in general, it's a lot of times it's what you think they can pay, for other companies. I don't work that way. I've sold that way because that was how it was done, but I don't do that myself. That's why I'm not rich. So, yeah. But that's what a lot of companies do. So, and mark up every piece they bring to your property. If it's a $10 box of screws, that's a $15 box of screws for you. That's just how it goes. I've seen 4x4 posts, 8-foot 4x4 posts you can get for about, well, probably now $12. I've seen those sold to customers for $500 a piece, and they weren't even installed. They were just dropped off on their property. Crazy.
How many bundles of shingles can Misfit carry up a ladder by herself?
No, she can't. She's too busy mixing up the cement.
About half a stack. She don't carry them. She'll pass me shingles. She don't carry them. I carry them all usually. So I've tried to get help. Sometimes it works, but a lot of times, I end up doing it all. Or if I can, I'll get it boomed to the roof, and then I'll just distribute it like the day before I start. And then, come in the next day and she passes me shingles pretty much. I pre-stage and she just opens and keeps me fed pretty much.
Going back to the whole thing with Zelensky and his wife, you know what it reminds me of? Rob might be too young. Barbecue.
Imelda Marcos.
Yeah,
Imelda Marcos, bingo. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Oh yeah, she spent like more than that though. Like right? She
had a huge walk-in closet just for her shoes. She had like over 1,000 pairs of shoes in her walk-in closet.
Yeah, I think she's the all-time queen of that, isn't she? I mean, like, we're not talking like $1 million. We're talking like 70 million in clothes or something.
Yeah, this was at a time period when the Philippines was going bankrupt. They were in the toilet hard, and the two of them are just spending money like it was growing on trees over there, and it was all coming from foreign aid from the U.S.
Yeah, we've been helping people out with foreign aid for a long time to do that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I think we gave Israel jets and some other stuff, and then they turned around and sold half of it. So this is, been a thing for a long time. I think people request it, almost like government grants. They think they can get it, so they just go for it, and it's always the max, whether you need it or not, because then you won't be able to get it again next year or as much if you don't. So, which encourages waste and all that crap, which we see across the board, which I don't agree to. I know people say that's how it's done, but I've always bitched and said, So reserve a little that we didn't spend this year for the fund on next year, and but you can't do it that way. You got to spend the whole thing on one thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way it's set up is bullshit. It's just wasteful. You know what I mean? Some years, I mean, you could pass that over to your local city with like buying salt for the roads or whatever. You know, they'll be out there dumping it just on a dry day or down by the riverbank just to get rid of the shit so they can get more for next year. I mean, it's just it's pretty crazy. It's just straight wasteful, and it's all out of our pockets.
Yeah, going back to the Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos thing, Midnight says, I'll never get that. He likes having cool stuff, but what the fuck are you doing with 1,000 pair of shoes? Hey, you doing changing your shoes multiple times a day? I mean, what the hell?
Some form of an addiction is present there.
You think? Maybe some kind of a fetish. Even.
Yeah. An addictive fetish.
Yeah.
How many pairs of shoes you guys got?
Oh, I actually got a brand new pair, and I love them, man. They're kicking, dude. They're styling like hell.
I have.
You don't go unnoticed, I'll tell you that. They're kicking, baby.
I have one pair of athletic shoes and 2 pairs of boots. One lower cut than the other. One are like just like hiking boots, and the other ones are like snow boots. That's
7 or 8.
That's all I got.
I just got a pair, man. That's check it out. They high tops, right? Like old school basketball high tops, but the color they're beige like work boots. You know what I mean? So they got like some netting and then the leather, and it's all beige, so they kind of look like work boots. But then they got tennis shoe soles on the bottom, and then there's just a little bit of like black and red thread piping and stuff, and got shoelaces to match. Man, they cool. I like them, man.
I'm not sure how many I got. I got I think like 15 that I can see here. So, but that's sneakers and boots. But that's
Jesus, Rob, are you a man or a woman? 15 pairs of shoes?
I'm just saying. Well, you got old stuff. You got stuff for different occasions. I didn't even consider dress shoes. I just bought a pair a couple days ago that I'm not happy with. Hiking shoes, waterproof shoes, waterproof hiking shoes, waterproof boots, desert boots, winter boots. I mean, you got to be prepared for shit. I don't know.
You know, if you buy waterproof boots to start with, that covers regular boots.
Yeah, but then your feet sweat like hell when it's hot out. Like, so sometimes you want them to be able to dry quick, or you get like that trench foot.
But if they're waterproof, they don't have to dry because they're not wet.
Feet sweat.
This is true.
If your feet sweat because the boot won't breathe, then it's going to get wet. It's the same.
There are breathable boots to where they are still water resistant, where water won't get in.
Yeah, there's a lot of products that claim that I can.
Oh no, I have a pair that actually are that. I've tested them.
Maybe.
I made sure.
I've never had a problem with them. For boots, I only buy waterproof.
Well, anyway, that's my justification. I've got, for whatever the situation, I should have a proper footwear for it, basically. Maybe 2.
Yeah, real quick, when it's hold on, I'll get back to you in a minute, Faust. I just want to say hi to yesterday's Pomade who popped in out there in the chat, and to Bernie Sanchez. All right, back to you, Faust.
I was just gonna say Rob needs to carry those Jessica packs and put in his shoes, I guess. Mr. Sweaty Feets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous, man. I'm kind of glad though that you're doing well. Got 15 pairs. I only got not even a handful of pairs, and I don't get nothing new, man, until like something old wears out and gives up. You know what I mean?
I have a 2 pairs of dress shoes, work shoes, my boots that I used to use for riding boots, and that if I go somewhere muddy or wet, I wear those. I've got my front door shoes, my back door shoes, the garage shoes, pair of other waterproof boots for when it snows. And
Wait. You have a pair of shoes just for going into your garage?
yeah, pair of Keens. Both my back door and garage, I have Keens.
And he's bitching at me.
Right?
Well, that way if I don't have to go get my shoes, the shoes are already there, so I just slip them on and then go in the garage. Efficiency.
I have just this one boot. I had to pull it out of my ass. Thank God it was too big.
One boot? Did you catch it when you were fishing?
Oh, I caught it all right. I wasn't out in wilderness enjoying myself.
Got it when he said the wrong thing.
He was on the fence post singing like a kitty cat.
No, I gotta ask.
The man wears a big boot, boys. You don't want him to kick you in the ass.
Are you guys active in your footwear? I know Jason's on his feet all day doing trim work, stuff like that, running back and forth. But hiking, working on your feet all day. I mean, do you guys push your feet like that? I mean,
most of my shoes, like seriously, if I buy Nikes, Reeboks, anything like that, like literally when I go to work, I could destroy a pair of those shoes in a month. They rarely last a month. I've ripped up Nikes on like the first or second day I wear them. Most of my shoes, I have to do all the seams in a super glue to get some lifespan out of them. But I found a real cheap shoe, Asics shoe, run about like $60, $65 on Amazon and places. Man, I can get like several months out of a pair of them and they're not even ripped up yet. But any shoe that you would think was expensive or high dollar for a tennis shoe, like, Nikes is absolutely the worst. They are so thin that they just fall apart on me. Literally, I've had them like on day ones and be cussing. I'll have a hole in them or something on day one.
Yeah, most Nikes that you see anymore on the shelves are just dress shoes disguised as athletic shoes. They're not meant to be really doing anything
I'm pretty sure it might have been a pair of Nikes. It could have been another pair, but I remember one shoes. I really liked them a lot. And like the stitching, the threads, in the leather around the edges and all that, that was like put in there. That was fake. They weren't actually sewn together. That stitching was in there for looks and they were glued together.
Yep, all cosmetic. My son, he bought a pair of Nikes, and within a month of working at Walmart, his shoes were falling apart.
work-wise, I think one of the best shoes I've ever had or used is Merrell's. So I've got old sets that I can still comfortably wear today. That I still do occasionally. Not ripped, not torn up, and you're talking roof, digging ditches, working foundations, you name it, all types of different shit. And they've held up pretty well. Sliding across floors, putting flooring in, similar to Jason, doing trim. Not as much as him or on the same schedule, but that type of stuff. Those Merrells, they tend to hold up. But my lady calls them old man shoes. I don't know. But they work pretty well. So I'll state that. So I'd maybe next time around, I'm sure you like what you got. If you're curious, maybe try them out, Jason. So they're not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive either. So
I'll throw it a little, I don't know what you call it, a side note, a caveat or whatever. I don't like the Nikes because said they're cheap and they fall apart. I have had Air Jordans. And I'm not the sneaker guy. I don't even like basketball. You know what I mean? I kind of like Michael Jordan now, but like, I'm not the shoe guy, the collector, the gangster of shoes, or none of that. But I've had a couple Air Jordan shoes, very, very comfortable. But I know one pair, I literally had them for several years. They lasted. They were a good shoe. The Air Jordans. I'm sure that's probably, a different assembly line maybe than the other shoes or whatever. But I wouldn't hesitate on a pair of Air Jordans if I liked, how they looked. But in general, I don't even consider even look at Nike shoes at the store just because I've never had them to be durable.
Yeah, Gary out there in chat says he's been wearing Skechers for years now. Yeah, me too. I got two pairs of Skechers. One's the low cut boots I was talking about. They're Skechers Tactical. And then I have my athletic shoes are a pair of Skechers cross country running shoes, which are really nice, comfortable.
What you talking about? There ain't no T always in Skechers.
For tennis shoes, I've got Old Man New Balance, but that's just because they're the easiest to find wide widths. But I've got a pair of Carhartt hiking boots that are over 20 years old and they're still waterproof.
Yeah,
they're the ones that I used to use as riding boots, and I still use if I'm going somewhere like hiking or where it's wet.
Yeah, I forgot about these ones because I don't wear them anymore, but I still have them somewhere. They're my old Dickies work boots that I had when I worked at Greyhound. Those things are still, if I would, I could put those on today and still go out there and walk around and jump in a puddle and my feet won't get wet.
Exactly.
Man, I always wanted some snakeskin boots. I still want some snakeskin boots, man. You guys ever had any? Or like the look of them? Yeah.
Never had a pair.
I think maybe when I hit 60, I might have the swagger to pull off snakeskin boots, gator boots. Yeah.
Gary says at least U23s in here. All we'd hear about Birkenstocks.
Jason wants those Mexican pointy boots, the ones with the long pointy toes, the party boots.
I did have a pair of cowboy boots that I got from Marlboro. I don't know whatever happened to them. I don't know where they're at. I don't know if I still have those or not. I haven't seen them in a while.
Oh man, I used to do cowboy boots in like the later 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. These were expensive ones. I don't remember what brand they were, but back what was it? Mid 2000s when they were doing that thing where you did things online and they gave you points and whatnot, as well as the points you got when you bought the cigarettes. And I got the cowboy boots from them doing that. They were like $145 pair of cowboy boots. Damned if I know where the hell they're at.
Sold them for gas money.
Nah, they're here somewhere. Just probably packed up in a box somewhere. Probably in the same box that those old Dickies work boots are in.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get me a pair. I'm gonna get me a nice pair of fucking snakeskin boots. 45 in the middle of my back, a Marlboro in my mouth. I'm the old dude. Don't fuck with me, man. I'm too old, too tired, too fucking easy to piss off. Just don't fuck with me.
Man, they says cowboy boots from Marlboro, fucking West Virginia. Dude, I got some nice stuff from Marlboro back in the day. Dude, you didn't even have to buy cigarettes. You just did their little things they had you do online.
Adventure miles.
On their website, and you would earn points and you just turn them in for shit. Almost like how they had the Miles and the Miles catalog back in the day. Almost that same kind of deal.
Still got miles. Didn't I show them to you one time?
What?
Showed you a stack of Marlboro miles.
You still got Marlboro Miles?
Yeah.
Why?
Had a bunch of crap I had credit.
Do they even
gotta-
still do those catalogs or no? I don't
No.
even know. It's been so
I don't.
long.
I don't think so. I have a trench lighter I got from Camel.
I got one of the Marlboro lighters around here somewhere. The one with the guy riding the bucking bronco on it. The brass Zippo.
Great.
Uh,
A bottle opener, a few other different things from Marlboro.
we did good back in the day on Marlboro Miles. Well, maybe like 6, 7, 8 years ago, did real good with Marlboro on some points. You would watch some videos and do some things every day, get some points.
Yep,
I got some good gear off that. So did my old lady.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I get. That's how I got those boots in. My wife's one SDL. Yeah, her one digital camera that she has, the Canon. I got her off of Marlboro by doing the points, like doing stuff that you were just talking about, Jason.
Oh yeah, man. My old lady saved for that camera. See, that was the thing. She got on like the very first day that you can only get so total of points, right? So like she got on the very first day. So she was able to like accumulate the maximum amount, right?
Yep.
I didn't get in till like a week late, right? So like there's no way I could get the top prize. So I would go ahead and buy things and get several of the lower things, man. I got some Bluetooth speakers, some Zippos and some stuff like that. She kept waiting for that camera, right? And like the points reset or something like crazy for us at like 3:00 in the morning or something. She waited and waited, saved all her points, right? Was there like 3:00 in the morning with her phone to get it, and all the cameras were gone. She was pissed.
I think I used that camera more than she did because when I was when I was taking my crime scene photography class, the freaking school bookstore ran out of the camera that I needed. So I bought this other Canon, and it didn't go to use it to take the pictures for class. It didn't have the goddamn fucking settings I needed. That damn one I got her off of Marlboro sure did. So I used that for my crime scene photography class.
Man, Barb was so mad about that. I bet if I called her today and told her I know somebody that got one of them Marlboro cameras, she'd cuss you out. But we did score bigger than anybody in history off of Pepsi. Pepsi did a thing with the NFL store, shopnfl.com, right? And they had good stuff in there, man. I'm not exaggerating in any sense of the word to tell you we had it all in about every team that you could think of. And everybody I know in the world, whatever their favorite football team was that Christmas, they got one of everything from bottle opener all the way to lawn chairs to the football to every expensive. We cleaned them out. There was more shipments anywhere in the world from Pepsi came to me than anywhere. And all I could say is I had special ties through family and other people. You could just say we had access to semi trucks of Pepsi products through businesses, flea markets, other things, and the numbers was inside the cardboard box. So
with the Pepsi points they had on the bottles, on the 1 liters, you could actually see. You could hold it at the right angle, and then you could see what they were.
We had like access to semi trucks. The people that bought it, the stuff, and they could care less, and they just like gave us the numbers. But we would buy pop, literally, dude. I could buy. We would have pop stacked. I would buy pop and get when you say cases, I don't mean like 2 12-packs. I mean like a little crate of like the forklift or like a
Right.
little dolly tuck. Here's a case. You said, I don't know how many's in it, 100, 200 pops, 250 pops. I don't know. Man, I could get cases like almost given to me so cheap. Like one time it could be $50, one time it could be $25. Sometimes get 2 for $75, stuff like that. If you kind of just understand how deals get going over time. But
I had a Pepsi
we had it all.
jersey, baseball jersey from that, and then they figured out people could see it, and they put a little cap over plastic piece that obscured the points.
Yeah, my stepfather, his father worked for the local Coca-Cola bottler in Pittsburgh, and we used to get Coke and Dr. Pepper and shit like that all the time for nothing. Might as well have been nothing. It was a hell of a lot cheaper than having to go to the supermarket or whatnot and buy it, because he would just get it right there and special pricing and stuff. And he'd pay pennies on the dollar for it. You know what I mean? So, my grandfather on my mother's side of the family, he worked for Clark Candy Company, so we got like Clark bars and Zagnuts and shit for nothing.
Hey man, you remember the store called Toys R Us?
Yep.
My old lady's dad, when the Toys R Us went out of business here, he bought it. And when I mean he bought it, at least four of those semi trucks full of boxes full of toys. And you'd never seen a better Christmas in your life amongst the whole family, dude. I mean, you talk about presents under a tree. I'm talking about the trees over there, and you can't even walk into the room. That was a great summer for us, man. We didn't even know what none of it was. They didn't organize any of it. So like you could open up a box, 4 foot around, 4 foot deep. You'd open up that box, and on top could be like a $10 Barbie doll. A few toys later, you could have a $200 remote control boat. You know what I mean? I mean, it was just everything, man. An entire store of toys. And he had lots of grandkids and stuff. It was just amazing, man. But he got that like early in the summer, and we sold toys and stuff like all summer long till Christmas, man, at like really good prices to people. But that was something I'll never forget. That was amazing. You just never seen the toys like I didn't have to pay for none of it. You know what I mean? Like, and some other people didn't have to pay for like none of it. Like, if you wanted that remote control 4x4, just take it with you. You know what I mean?
I miss that store. Used to be able to get model rocket supplies in there. Like you just walk in,
Yeah.
you buy the engine, starters, all the stuff they had right on the shelf. So, which was nice. Now you got to go to like a small hobby store. Everything's jacked up on prices. Like rocket engine.
Hobby Lobby, Rob. Hobby Lobby has rockets and stuff like that.
Probably all jacked up prices. I mean, I don't know.
No, not really. They're competitive prices.
Actually, but you can make some pretty cool smoke grenades with those rocket engines. They smoke like a bastard. Yeah, I mean, but other stuff too. But yeah, they're fun. I wish Toys R Us was still around. I always liked that store. It was expensive, but I always liked it. They always had cool stuff to look at.
I don't think there's even toy stores exist around here anymore. I don't know of any. I mean, you can get like some toys, Walmart or Myers, but like they only got like a couple rows. It's not like it used to be.
Yeah, Toys R Us is coming back, right? Somebody bought the name and is reopening stores and stuff. The Macy's up in Altoona, PA, at the mall there, they have a small Toys R Us in the Macy's store.
Weeby toys and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I wonder if it'll be the same or not. So if we can get Toys R Us back, then we got to get Radio Shack back. And I know people are like, "Oh, they're still out there. Where? Damn it, where?"
Where? I've not seen one. I haven't seen a Toys R Us in like 20. I mean, not Toys R Us, Radio Shack in like 20 years.
Yeah,
Where's there a Radio Shack?
you know, I don't know, capacitor. Can you buy like stuff that you can make shit with, or is it all cell phones now? You know, let's get some fun stuff back.
That used to drive me crazy. I'd go in to buy, like LEDs or something, or resistors, and then you got to wait half an hour while they're telling somebody how to load minutes on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back in the day, you go to Radio Shack to buy parts to build a computer, and you were actually having to assemble the motherboard, not just put pieces on an already assembled motherboard.
Extra headphones. I mean, now everything's Bluetooth, but back in the day, people their cat would eat them or this or that, and they just throw them away. Like you go down there and buy a new jack or whatever, nice jack too, nice gold ones, all types of stuff, and wire it all up. You're good to go, man. Like, but we became that throw it away society.
When you're a kid, you got your little card for the free batteries once a month. Go and get your free battery.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know about that, but
I remember that. The free battery. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I ever bought batteries for my Walkman because I would just go to Radio Shack and get the free ones.
Alrighty, boys. I'm done now. Everybody, have a good night.
Yeah. Later, Kingpin. Thanks for jumping on, brother.
Good night.
Gary said Toys R Us was free daycare. Let your kids off and go away for an hour. Yeah, we would sit in Toys R Us and we'd just be sitting there playing video games all the time because they always had the console set up with the games on it for people to try them. And there'd be a line of like teenagers waiting to play whatever the latest game console was.
I used to like KB toys better because they had better prices.
KB and Circus World. Remember when they had both of them in the mall competing against each other? No,
because I've never seen your mall.
No, you didn't have that in your mall?
No.
Oh man, we had right across from each other, right? Was KB, and on the other side of the mall was Circus World, right directly across from each other. You could see one from the other, right? And they had those whiteboard signs out front, the sandwich board whiteboard signs, and one would come out and put a price on a product, right? And then the next one come out and put a price that was like 10 cents lower. Then the other manager come out and change his price. It was funny as hell. It was like watching one of those old movies where they're doing that shit. They're doing it for real. Like, and then they'd both come up with the same price, and then they would leave them. It was like, yep, we can't go any lower than this kind of thing. It was all for show, but it was funny as hell to watch them do it. It was just waiting to see what they stopped reducing the prices at, It was I think it was Circus World where I bought my first baseball bat. It was remember the aluminum bomb bat baseball bats?
Yeah.
Got one of those on sale at Circus World.
Aluminum baseball bats?
Yep.
I got one right here.
You allowed to have that in New York?
Maybe not for much longer. Who knows?
Is it got the same kind of handle as I got here in Ohio?
Oh no.
Walk down the street to a baseball field, get pulled over by the cops for open carrying a weapon.
T-ball bat's more maneuverable inside, Rob.
It is small. I'll measure it. I'm not sure the length, but it's not a full size baseball bat.
Man, we went to a Pirate game this one time. It was the one when my brother was sick with leukemia. It was through Make-A-Wish. We would get It's every summer they would give us tickets. And we went on bat night. Tell you what, man, that little bat they gave you, you could beat somebody to death with that some bitch back then. The things were solid wood. You could use it as a billy club.
28 inches.
It's probably on the longer side, but there's, I think, trying to remember, was it 36-inch I used in? I don't remember. Yeah.
Gary said Circus World was bought by KB in 1990. Yeah, I remember when that happened because the Circus World turned into another KB. So instead of having Circus World across from KB, you had KB across from KB. Circus World was basically the same kind of store KB was. It was just one of those little mall toy stores. At one point, we had Children's Palace too, which was a big store, kind of like Toys R Us. It was shaped like a castle.
Do you think it's profitable for toy stores now? I mean, when a lot of things have switched to video games, digital. I mean,
With
kids
Amazon,
actually
with
want
Amazon,
to do something.
yeah, with Amazon and Walmart, probably not. I mean, even Target's got a fairly decent sized toy section anymore.
Yeah. I think part of it was the experience of going to a toy store. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
you
Now,
have
a
to
couple of the malls around here, they have little mom and pop toy stores in them. So, I don't know.
There's small ones in the malls, but it's like half toys, and then they've got calendars and books, kids' books, but they're kind of bougie toys.
You guys remember that like Macy's catalog, right? I think it was Macy's.
Well, when I was a kid, we didn't have Macy's where I grew up. We had
JCPenney catalog
Kaufman's,
was king.
Costman, JCPenney, Sears.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Sears Wish book was king at Christmas
Sears.
time, man.
Yeah.
it's like the wish list type deal. Well, going in a store like that, it's like similar. You're seeing all the stuff, but you can actually see it. So it seemed like an experience. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was a poor, so I knew I was only getting like the one thing that we came for, but I got to look at the other stuff.
It was the Sears catalog was great for looking at toys and lingerie.
Oh yeah, swimsuits.
Hell, the electronics section was pretty decent too. In the Wish books, you had all the nice little stereo systems and stuff in there. Hell, they can't even keep GameStop stores open anymore. Like you were saying, Rob, it's all digital.
Yeah, they kind of the format's kind of running them guys out of business, or
I think they
did
too much though. I mean, of course, I'm going to say that about everything, but like when you pay like $60, like I'm thinking years ago, back when that was expensive for a video game. Now it's even 100, 120 is probably common, but probably more.
No, most video games are still only $50, $60, $70. It's only if you get the really deluxe edition that comes with the soundtrack and the art book and all that other crap that you're paying over $100.
Yeah.
Well,
you usually about all of them you can find like a basic version much cheaper.
But you'd pay that, go home, binge out on that shit, and beat it by morning. Like sometimes 2-3 hours. Like that one Black Ops, everybody made a big deal. I think I smoked that in like 2 hours and change, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I'm so happy I didn't pay for this. But everybody, you know, such a big deal. It's like the money involved for it and the time you get, like the value out of it seems like shit. Like to me, I know a lot of them start kicking in zombie mode, all this other shit, little extras you can do to get some more time out of the games. But to me, they just didn't seem worth it at a certain point. It was like, this is, you know, and then you beat the game, you go back in and try to like trade it in so you can get something else, and they want to give you like $12. Yeah, $12 on a game, or like you're a freaking crackhead. You just paid 65 last week for it. Like I think that killed them. There's a lot of people, believe it or not, that are cheap like me that want something for their money, you know, and it's just I don't know.
That's why I play. If I play video games anymore, it's like role playing type games where you got hundreds of hours of gameplay.
Oh, dude, I was going to tell Rob, solved my morning. I only play one game. Excuse me. I've been playing EverQuest since like 2000. And I nowadays I only play it a few months out of the year, but I used to play it like all the time. And one of my longest players, not too long ago, I checked, I'm at 196, almost 200 days of playing time. That's like not I played a little bit today and tomorrow, and that's 2 days. That's 24 hours. It gives it a total number of hours and then converts it to day. I'm at almost 200 days of like playing it 24 hours a day, and I'm only maybe 50%, maybe a little farther than that through the game and seeing everything. In
What's it?
24 years and 200 days of nonstop 24 hours a day time on just one person though. But man, I got I can't tell you how many characters, but just on my 200 full days. And like I said, I'm not even 50%, maybe if I'm lucky, maybe less, maybe more.
Well, don't take this wrong, but do you suck at video games? Are you average with them?
No, dude, on this game, I definitely do not suck.
Okay.
At the time, I hung with some good people when it was the heyday and kicking, when there was like 300,000 people on my server. I was ranked, I think the highest I got might have been like 25. And I was hanging with buddies that were fighting up there at top 10s, 11, 12s. But it takes a lot of special. You can't even come close to that without special people around you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to, belittle your effort or anything. I was, what I'm saying. But a lot of people think they're good, and they're average at best.
Well, I couldn't do I can't do Madden. A little kid would beat me in Madden football, and I can't do like that. The modern warfare stuff, the running real fast, shooting around. That's not the kind of game I'm playing.
Yeah, there's different kinds of games. Rob's probably used to like shooters and stuff. And
my games got a lot of stuff where you're just doing stuff. Like it's almost like living a life, and like there's stuff you just got to do. It's not a combat so much. Half of it's combat, half of it's not, but you go at your own pace pretty much, and you got to it takes thinking and strategy more than just clicking buttons and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, strategy cool. Some of the puzzles are cool, things like that. So I mean, there's some games out there you can get your money out of, I think, but it just, in my opinion, got to the point where on average most of the games, it seemed like, were pretty thin. I mean, they were, don't get me wrong, they were good, but they were short lived. And then, you're off to the next one or whatever. So if you were good at the games, like that's literally an evening, maybe two, and then now you're out, $80, $100, and you're itching for another one. Like that's almost as bad as a drug problem. You know what I mean? When you start doing math on that type of stuff as a young adult.
That is the other problem. My game, when you're playing and you're doing good, it can cost you anywhere from $100 to $200 a month.
Nope, I'm out.
Yeah, but the thing with the shooter games like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, it's not playing campaign mode. Campaign mode's fun and all, but the best part about those games is jumping online and playing against other people. Because that you don't have, there's not an end game. You're just going to try and win a match, basically.
Yeah, see, that to me is kind of short-sighted. That's one aspect, but to me, I'm all about the campaign. I'll run it through all the levels, try to improve my times, improve things, stuff like that. That's where I find, sometimes the story changes, things like that, depending on levels or choices you make. So I prefer that over just the online random run around and shoot each other. Some strategy,
Well, there is strategy. See, you have your basic go out there and kill everybody games online, but there's also where you got to do objectives. One team is trying to do the objective, and the other team is to stop. Their job is to stop the other team from completing the objective. So it's like playing almost like a mini campaign, but instead of playing against NPC characters, you're playing against other people that can think and for real think, not just AI think, and their job is to thwart you from completing your mission.
I get it.
Check this out, Rob. On my game, what's kind of I love so much about mine, and it's not cheating either. Everybody does this. I do what's called multi-boxing. Okay, like you think like you're playing a game, and you have like a character or whatever, and you're gonna run around and play your game. Like at a minimum, I do 6. So like if you look over here and you see these 6 people and you think it's 6 different players, it's all me. I'm playing all 6 at the same time. You know what I mean? So when you want to accomplish something for like the one guy and he's got to go out and face the world on his own and fight or do whatever, he's got 5 friends to help him do it. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm my own little mini gang. It's not just my one guy who has to do something. I got 5 to go with him, and then I do cheat because you're only allowed 6 to like effectively do something. I always keep 1 or 2 danglers extra just falling around just in case an emergency arises or something. And that's how I've played for many years. But my new computer, things of my life, guys know what's happened. I ain't had no time lately, but my new computer, Rob, is 3 screens and it's going to play 12 people at one time. So that's why my game is kind of a little, you got to pay for each one. So that's why the cost adds up. But my game is set up to like, you can be all by yourself, but it's meant to be with other people. But instead of it being other people, it's just me, my own little. It takes you from being like a foot soldier to being like a general in command of all of them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the way that the game Jason's set up played, it's probably never going to have a end game per se.
There's no end. End. No, there's no end. The new version, a new edition comes out every year. Maybe when things are good, you might get one every 10 months or something. But yeah, this month actually is the anniversary month, and there's all kinds of special stuff. This 99, so this is the 25th anniversary, or maybe 26th, how they count that shit, I don't know. But there's no end in it until the company runs out of money.
Yeah. There's a couple other games that are like that. I mean, World of Warcraft is in that same kind of vein. DC Universe
Yeah.
Online, Star Trek Online. There's all kinds of.
But actually, I'll pat myself on the back. My EverQuest, it was the original. Just say it. It was the original one out there. It's sad though. It used to be like easily 1 million people at any time playing it, all the way across all the servers. And now, man, I think on my server when it's populated, there's 10,000.
Kids these days don't have the attention span to get into a game like that, which is why they ruined World of Warcraft, was to appeal to the.
Yeah, most everybody that plays EQ has played it for years, and now they're like my age. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good YouTubers out there. Got some EverQuest channels, and seem like they have pretty successful YouTube channels. Sounds weird. Sometimes I just like watching other people play. You know.
I actually read a complaint from somebody that said Baldur's Gate 3 is too long. I think I have 99 hours into that game.
I've never understood watching other people play. Like, I realize people make money doing that nowadays, and it just blows my mind, you know, that's a thing. So I can understand like studying something or whatever, but actually paying just to watch other people play games, like, it's just like, I don't know. It to me just
Well, yeah, I couldn't. I don't. I know
learn.
the game you're familiar with. I couldn't watch it either. I don't get it. But mine, you learn stuff, or like somebody's doing a show, like they're showing you something that you might want to do yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when I was playing World of Warships, I would watch the better players playing, so I knew what I needed to do to improve my game.
Yeah, like I said, I can understand studying it in a sense, but I still just it still just shocks me that it's become like an industry, like a whole separate thing now.
Well, hell, man, you get good enough
Like,
at games like World of Warships, and you get in one of those tournaments, you can win some serious cash prizes and shit, dude.
Oh yeah, and that football, Madden. Oh gosh, you can. Not only that, Madden. I've seen some shows like there's big prize money, but if you're good enough, somebody will walk up to you and give you a job. How would you like to work at Madden? And you test out the new stuff and try to find bugs and problems that don't work, and you get paid an incredible amount of money.
I think the last tournament I watched for World of Warcraft, or not World of Warcraft, for World of Warships, the top team won like 10 grand each. It was an $80,000 purse for the winning team.
Shit's
The
crazy.
team consists of 8 players. That's 10 grand a piece.
yeah, but 10 grand really ain't much. In the
It
big
is for playing a video game.
yeah, but how
Oh,
long?
bro, a weekend, 10 grand a weekend. That sounds all right.
Going to work every damn day down at your local whatever, 10 grand doesn't add up. That how much time it takes in some cases to get to that level. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I love video games. Don't get me wrong, but it's like a drug to some people, and they don't live a life because they're on games all day. That could be the same with all types of different other shit, but it's just I think in some cases more bad comes from it than good. It's just my opinion as a layman and somebody who loves games and plays games and could say borderline was addicted at one point. But I won't even get into that, but that's a whole nother story. So But I just say, it's like a lot of things. There's certain cases where, there's exceptions where people, make out great, but there's all the other downside, like gambling. How many you only hear about when people win. They never tell you about how many times they lose. And then when they win, they're not accounting for all that money they lost before they won. And it's the same thing with your time. I don't know.
Bernie was asking me if it was a UK team that won that tournament. No, that tournament, the final was an Asian team versus a US team, and the Asian team won barely.
Hey, Bernie, Rob, did you see what Bernie said? He says you need to go eat a salad like other people need to go eat a Snickers. I think that's what he's meaning.
Currently eating M&Ms.
Oh, well, okay.
They also do military tournaments with World of Warships, where different teams that were, veterans and active duty play the game.
Rob's gonna end up getting shanked by some like video game psycho dude on the streets of New York.
Uh-huh.
You never know.
Hey, man.
Video game.
Hey, man, I heard you was talking shit. You was talking shit about Call of Duty, you dumb some bitch, and you stabbed him back.
The news will say there was some kind of online feud between the two.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, just jog down a little bit, and they'd pass out from trying to catch me.
But here's the thing, Rob. You'll be okay because it's New York City. You'll only be able to have a table knife.
Yeah.
Or a butter knife, so you don't have to worry about actually getting cut. They'll just be stabbing you with a blunt knife.
Stabbed you with a plastic one.
Right?
Slasher. Did you feel the earthquake?
No, I've had I got people calling me, all types of stuff. No, not at all. They say people felt it around me, other cities that were even further from it. And I got to call bullshit. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I was on my feet moving around working, so maybe if I sat at a desk, I would have felt it. I have no idea, but I didn't feel shit.
It was funny watching the news clips where people are acting like it's some kind of major disaster, like New York City is going to fall over or some shit. Like, California, that's weaker than a goddamn aftershock.
You know what, man? I said it because when somebody told me it came across their phone that New York had a earthquake. And I said it because that's what I really imagined. I was waiting to see the news, kind of hoping for it. I was hoping that literally that earthquake would have kept going and like hit Washington, D.C. and got rid of it.
Shit, we just
I really did.
There was an earthquake a few years ago just outside of D.C. We felt that some bitch here. It shook windows and shit. That was, 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah, that's like a tidal wave. Like I don't mean no ill will to the people that live in the houses, but there's just a couple few city blocks right there. I wouldn't mind seeing the water shut them down.
Yeah, you know what? That'll be one way to keep Washington D.C. from growing.
Yeah, I bet you see some fast government response then.
Uh-huh.
When their basement's flooded, man, they don't care. They don't care when ours are flooded here, right?
Hey, what do you guys think of all these damn ships losing power and hitting bridges or almost hitting bridges? I guess we're up to number 3.
That was crazy. We didn't talk to David about that.
And we're up to like number 3 now, I think. So from what I've heard, one in the city, that they got it under control before it hit the bridge, but basically something happened, lost power. There was 3 tugs on it, and they called in 3 more to get it under control, which they did, and they got it anchored. But apparently another one, which I'm not sure where, hit a bridge, I think near DC as well. besides the one that we all have heard about prior. So it's like 3 ships now have all had, you know, weird problems right in a tight area around major cities in the U.S. So does
Well,
that just seem like a coincidence, or do you think maybe there's some type of, I don't know if it's even possible with ships, but because from my understanding, they're all very basic. But yeah, I'm sure there's some communication or something. There's probably something, but is it some type of hacking? What the hell is going on here? It seems weird that.
Well, they are all using
Yeah,
GPS and stuff like that now. So
yeah.
you know what? I'm all for you, Rob. I'm all for at least let's take a look and find out what's going on. But
It seems
I don't know.
weird.
What do you think about the thing being maybe it's something that happens a lot, like every day, anyways, and they never told us about the ones before. You know what I mean? It ain't newsworthy. You know what I'm saying? Like now, since the Baltimore one, they're out looking for boat and bridge news. You know what I mean? When before they wasn't or something. But I get
maybe
you.
the Bermuda Triangle. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry, thought you
Oh,
were
I'm
done.
just saying, I get you. Let's find out why all of a sudden they are hitting them, or if they hit them all the time, then it's like definitely time to figure out why you hitting them all the time. Because I feel bad about that one in Baltimore. Those guys got killed. Were fixing the road, pothole in the road.
Construction workers.
How did you not see that big ass boat? And it wasn't going that fast, so you had like plenty of time. Like, I feel sorry for them. Like, why did you not quit working? I mean, damn, you're like a state road worker, anyways. It ain't like you're like a busy beaver son of a bitch. You probably sit on your ass all day. Did you not stop? You know, why did you not stop working and get off?
It was that's
They're all
that,
South America.
Francis, good.
So I don't know. There could be communication problems. Keep in mind, it wasn't night. It's a big bridge. Depending on your
huge
site,
bridge.
not even seen it. But yeah, I mean, it's a shitty deal for them for sure. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't matter where they came from. But yeah, I think there's a lot of factors where they may not have seen that or realize exactly what was happening. I mean, the angle they had at night might not have looked so close. I don't know, but it's definitely a shit deal for those guys.
The Francis Scott Key Bridge, like if you're working on one side of it and the boats come from the other side, it's very easy not to see it, just how close that boat's getting to the bridge itself. Your vision's going to be partially blocked by the bridge, the other side of the bridge itself. I mean, that bridge was huge. It wasn't a little bridge.
Hey, the other boats that wrecked, were they like that boat with like cargo, like train cars, semi-truck car things, stacked on them?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I've just heard little things about it. So the lady's been keeping me in the loop on some of it. So she's thinking it's a conspiracy herself. So
maybe it's just a Bermuda Triangle on a vacation to DC, Baltimore area.
Man, I live in a train town, if that's a way to describe it. It's a really big thing here, man. Like, this is a big railroad crossing thing. I mean, it's a huge number. There's like 300 trains here a day. We got like train tracks from every train company everywhere here, man. This used to be a big train town. But anyways, I've been here for all my life. And just this last week, I kind of never noticed it before. But like the trains all of a sudden, they've gotten way longer than normal, and they're all full of like those cargo container things. But I've never seen this. Maybe I have. I never noticed it, but I've seen it like on every train around here the last couple of days at least. The trains are so long. There's another engine or two, the locomotive, like in the tail or the middle of that train.
Yeah, I used to see trains like that all the time in Pittsburgh.
Like, well, we would have like, occasionally there's like, maybe there's an engine on both ends, Maybe it's getting towed, maybe it's pushing, whatever. I'm talking like a couple all
Yeah, I
of
know
a
what you're
sudden
talking
in the
about.
middle, and then there's
Yeah.
still a whole 5 more minutes of train cars. That's unusual for us here. Like that's like very
Yeah, we'd have trains go through Pittsburgh. They'd have 2 or 3 engines in the front, one in the middle and one at the rear, because of how long the train was.
If you're in a train,
Midnight Someday. I know why. I wasn't used to seeing it because Midnight says Moo's wife was on vacation. Okay.
if you're in a train town, how many train accidents have you seen in your town? How common
None.
is
None.
None.
Not even in the history of this town that I could recall.
like
Hell, they
trains
build, dude. They
all over
build
the place?
a oil tanker car, a train car. The tankers.
Mhm.
If you've ever seen one in your life, they probably built it right here. We build the damn trains here.
There was actually a submarine during World War II that got credit for sinking a train. They were patrolling the coast of Japan towards the end of the war. Can't remember the name of the damn submarine. It's a really famous one too. I can't remember the name of it, but it was sailing. The captain of the boat actually won the Medal of Honor at one point. But they were sailing around the coast, and they had run out of ammo. Right, they had shot everything. They were getting ready to head back to base, and they noticed that there was a excuse me, railroad going right along the top of this cliff overlooking the ocean. So the captain sends a shore team to go and demolish this railroad. And as they're setting up the explosives and stuff, a train starts to come around the corner. So the guys run down and get back on their raft. And as they're getting on their raft to get back to the submarine, they blow the track just as the train gets to the point where they put the explosive, and the train rolls down the hill and into the ocean. They got credited with sinking a train.
That's a great way to deal with civilians.
I believe it was a cargo train from this story I was watching yesterday.
No, okay. I just find it funny that all the ships are going haywire, hitting bridges and shit. Trains are all derailing. All the planes got doors blowing out or tires falling.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's next? You know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
It's all the eclipse's fault, Rob.
Bird flu. Yeah, bird flu. We got that now.
We've had that. Christ.
Oh, don't worry. The price of eggs is not going to go up or anything. Don't worry. Hey man, you want to talk about war for a minute?
Which war?
Vietnam.
What you got?
Okay, I knew you'd say yes. You wouldn't tell me no. Man, I watch a lot of, over my whole lifetime span, I guess, I watched a lot of, the military channels, stuff like that. You guys interested in that shit too. To be honest, never really realized it. Never really have learned too much about Vietnam. Most shows, glorify the gold generation and World War II and how heroic America was and all this and that. Man, I came across this one channel, man, it has some really good stuff on it. And like I never really got to I've seen documentaries of Vietnam and the stuff they've put together. I never really saw any like this before. And like it was mostly like real footage and interviews of soldiers. And I'll just tell you right now, all of us, every single one of us gun guys, all of us that talk brave and shit, we're all full of shit. What them boys went and did in Vietnam, we're all a bunch of pussies, man. like you take it for granted. And I know that war was people's opinions on it, political or whatever. Them soldiers went through beyond hell, man. Beyond hell. And I just wanted to give him credit for that. We're all a bunch of shit talkers. We're brave. Shit hits the fan. Shit really did hit the fan for them boys, man. And man, the show, just how I watched it, was shocking. Some of the shit them boys came through. The one that got me, I watched it twice. One of them battles, it's like I'm not in the history books and don't get the movies made about it. But one of our things went in, started out 200 soldiers, and they came out of there with 70 and were considered it a win. They won that battle. They made the enemy retreat, right? 200 down to 70. And in that 70, when they were licking their wounds and considering, 1/3 survival was a victory, that 70 ran into 700. Two guys came out of that with a Congressional Medal of Honor, and them guys got out, fought their fucking way out. That was a hell of a show or documentary. It had the real soldiers that was there. Dude, that was hell, dude. I'm talking so many bullets fucking went off from just like 250 cals and a handful of soldiers that like literally the trees in the jungle disappeared, man. Leaves, trees, branches, trees several feet around just falling like you're knocking over dominoes, man. When them boys lit it up, their last ditch effort, they ain't got no more bullets. They lit it up till they didn't have nothing. In the jungle, like fucking disappeared, man. Them boys really kicked some fucking ass, man. I'm just saying, I give them credit. I know World War II and all the things we did and our grandfathers and all that. Yeah, God bless them too. But like them boys in Vietnam went through pure fucking hell, man. And I'm sure the guys did in the desert here too, man. No disrespect to them whatsoever. I'm sure in many ways theirs was worse in Vietnam because our government doesn't learn lessons very well. But I just want to give credit. Them Vietnam dudes, they had it unbelievably rough. If you see it like in real life, like it's not a show or talked about. Like this is some dude scared to death holding the camera. It's fucking shocking, dude. Just want to give him credit, man.
Yeah, I'd give him credit too.
My father-in-law, he served in Vietnam. His best friend served in Vietnam. Not together. I mean, they were in different units and whatnot.
Hey, there's a good part of that story. I'll stop talking about it, but I wanted to share the one good part about it. Them dudes, it's like they're running out of bullets. Like they're running out of bullets. And as soon as they run out of bullets, it's it. And like the dude was calling on the radio and he was like, you got to get it here. It was like 3:15 and he'd like already called a couple times. And he told him, if you ain't here in like 5 minutes, don't even come. You know what I mean? Bring body bags instead. And the helicopter showed up with like pallets and bundles hanging underneath of them full of fucking bullets to drop to them. And wouldn't you know it, they fucking dropped the shit in the wrong place. They damn near dropped it to the Viet Cong, to the fucking enemy, closer than they dropped it to our fucking dudes, man. And it was like a shooting gallery for the other guys. They knew we had to have it. And two dudes that nobody even remembers who it was fucking ran out there and fucking got some of it, brought it back, or the whole thing would have been lost. But no shit, they come to drop the bullets and supplies and fucking missed it. Gave it away to the enemy.
Yep, you hear stories about that from World War II too, where guys will be waiting for a supply drop and it'll drop and it'll be behind the enemy line. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, it happened. Fog of war and all that stuff.
Oh, that was the thing about it. They the 70 did get rescued, but they only got rescued by like 100 and some. And them guys didn't even like have top orders to go there. There wasn't no way to get there. They had to use bulldozer and clear a path through the jungle to get there. And even though they were like 5 miles away, it took like all day to like dig there. They realized that's why they decided to fight instead of retreat. They only had daylight hours. They didn't have enough daylight hours to get home. So it was fight or that's it. And they kicked the ass and they tried to get out and they ran out of daylight and it got so dark they came to a complete standstill. And they're just sitting there. They didn't think they'd make it till morning because the enemy knew where they was, but they didn't know where the enemy was.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow they figured out like one of them howitzer cannon top bases was so many miles away. And them guys shot shit off all night long and lit the sky up like moonlight. And that's how the dudes got out.
Yeah. But there's look, I can't remember the name of it, but it was an autobiography of this guy who was an ensign in the Navy. He had just gotten his commission, was being sent over to the Philippines like a month before the Japanese invaded. And he tells a story about how he got out of the Philippines, and some of the shit that he tells about in that book was crazy. There's some really humorous parts too about shit he had to do to get out of there, but there's a lot of harrowing parts too to it. It's a really good book, and damned if I can't remember the name of it. We had to read it when I was in college for one U.S. history course I was taking. Really good book. I got it around here somewhere. I'll have to look for it and let you guys know later what it was called, but it's really good.
Man, I would fight for anything. I'd definitely fight right out here on the own land that I owned and fucking fight till I got too many holes in me to fight. But I can honestly say, dude, my government calls apparent. I don't really know that if I wouldn't go to that jungle for the reasons that we went and what it actually was. I don't know if I'd have done that fight, man. Every one of them guys that went to Vietnam, whether they fought or they tightened bolts and changed oil so other guys could fight, man. God bless every one of them. I don't think I'd do it. And I'm the most patriotic son of a bitch ever was, and I don't think I'd have done that.
Yeah, you might not have had a choice.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, a lot of obviously there's a lot of good and bad when you speak of Vietnam and history or whatnot. But I mean, there's a lot of kind of cool stuff that came out of it too, with some of the units that were developed. The psychological aspect that was played. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's public now that wasn't then. About redirecting forces, all types of stuff with small squads, using their religion and fears against them, things like this. Then you got stuff like Tiger Company, which was that's a whole kind of problem there, but that's another story. But there was a lot of different elements that came out of that are still were built upon and basically in place today. It's definitely interesting. So I've got some family members as well that were involved with it. So so it holds a little true to me, I guess, or whatever. I got a spot for it. So it's interesting stuff. The traps that were used. There's a lot to it.
Oh yeah. They were showing some of that. That's pretty crazy. The booby traps they had.
The fact of all the tunnels and everything, the bad intelligence. People coming out of nowhere. It seems. the tunnel rats that had to go in there. I mean, it's a lot of shit came out of that. Who would have thought they'd have like freaking underground cities damn near? I mean,
Oh hell, man.
pretty
Oh
amazing.
man.
Yeah, but that goes back to Jason's point earlier about the government not learning from this. Because if they would have learned from this, they would have known all that stuff was a thing from fighting the Japanese in World War II. Because the Japanese did the same damn shit.
Yeah. Rob mentioned them tunnel rat boys. Woo, goodness, God. I don't think it takes a brave man to do that. I think it takes an insane man to do that.
Uh-huh.
The biggest set of cojones that was ever made, man. Because wow, they'd send them down holes where they couldn't even wear a T-shirt, and gave them a 1911, gave them a 45. Here you go, and flashlight with batteries that last 15 minutes. Go down that hole head first. There you go. God, the fuckers, Jesus. They say not only was the bad guys down there, so was like snakes and booby traps and shit.
Uh-huh.
I go down there for flamethrower first. How about that?
Wouldn't necessarily work in some cases because
I go down there. I go down there after some grenades and after some flamethrowers and some fucking mustard gas or some shit. I ain't going down there now.
Well, they would wall up and seal it off with mud so gas wouldn't work on them.
Mm-hmm.
They'd also do little designs, kind of like your P-trap on your sink. So
yeah,
you would have to swim through a small area, but that kept gases from penetrating it as well. So
really gas trap.
Smart, it really is.
Yeah.
Man, I saw that same channel I was watching, not to break away from Nam and shit, but like they have something all the time. Another interesting was World War One. Man, like they killed like 10 or 20 million horses in World War One.
Yeah, they were still using cavalry, horse cavalry in World War One.
Horse for like pickup truck too, you know what I mean? But like,
well, hell,
yeah,
man. Even World War II, they were still using horses in certain theaters in World War II.
I saw a little bit of the World War One, and it was about the horses, and like, my God, dude, like, that's a lot of horses, man. That's a lot of horses. Yeah, horses died as like just as many as the men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you still had cavalry. You had cavalry charges go on in World War One. During the German invasion of Poland in World War II, the Polish cavalry did horse charges against the light armor vehicles that the Germans had. So you had, everybody thinks that the cavalry thing went away as far as horse cavalry before World War One. No, World War II there was some. The Afghans during the Soviet invasion were using horse cavalry against the Soviets. I mean, horses are still used. In some places, it's so mountainous you have to use horses. You can't get motorized vehicles in.
I don't remember the name of who it was. I think it was a French dude, maybe, but that show showed one famous general, field commander or something. Like he had his special horse, like special shipped to the battlefield or something, and he made the quote or something. There's not a bullet out there that can catch this horse or something. And then he went into battle and got shot and killed. So they built a statue.
Special forces used horses in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yeah, horses are still used by military for different reasons in different areas.
Might have to use a few around here someday. You never know.
They're still capped or whatever. It's just not the numbers it used to be. It's not deployed the same. It's usually ceremony or something special usually. So, some cases.
Kind of the one thing though about when I was getting to the horses though, just like they were showing, like, imagine that, dude, like 10 million horses, like that's a lot of horse feeders, a lot of stables, a lot of
Or
stuff for horses. You know what I mean? It's like it's a like they wouldn't like ride the horses, like they'd ship the horses by train cars and stuff. You know, it's a lot of cowboy wrangling. You know.
You got to remember back in World War One in particular, automotives were still in their infancy. Tanks were just being started to be built, and they weren't nothing like what we're used to now. I mean, the closest one was probably the FT-17 would be the closest what I could think of to what we have now as far as the rotating turret and stuff like that's concerned. But even those were very rudimentary. You could
Half of
take
them
out,
broke down.
yeah, and you could take out you literally could take out a tank with a high-powered rifle back then. The armor wasn't all that great. It wasn't like you needed a cannon to take out a tank. You just get a 50 caliber machine gun. Remember, the 50 caliber Browning machine gun was designed as an anti-tank weapon.
That's one thing that bugs me about movies that are set before World War One, and they call tanks tanks. They didn't. There was not the concept of what.
No.
There was a concept of, like a battle wagon kind of thing, but they would not call them tanks because tank comes from the WC project. It was code. It was so that the Germans would think it was, a water tank,
Right.
not an armored vehicle. So
Yeah.
you can't have Da Vinci calling his battle wagon a tank.
No, you can't, because that wasn't a concept. Like you said, it was to disguise the actual product that was being produced by the program. And the reason why the British tanks were designed the way they were is to go over the trenches.
Did you see or ever hear about the Monopoly games for the prisoners of war?
Yeah.
The secret Monopoly games.
They would have like tips on how to escape, and
have
they would have
knives
real
and
money hidden in the
money maps and shit hidden in it. I watched that. That was pretty interesting. They kept that so tight secret, like the factory workers didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you look at the they got those Red Cross. The prisoners of war would get the Red Cross packages, and they would have like Hershey bars and stuff in them. When you took the wrapper off the Hershey bar, it would have tips on how you could mess around with the guards and stuff on the base or the prison that you were in. They did all kinds of little clandestine things like that to give the guys that were in the prisoner of war camps tricks to try and get out.
You hear about them dropping a bunch of like large condoms off. I can't remember what the hell it
in
was.
Vietnam.
Yeah, they dropped them off trying to psychologically screw with the enemy there. Basically, that was a thing too. They've done a lot of weird shit. That's kind of in some cases funny. In some cases, it really didn't do shit. Pamphlets and propaganda and stuff. And but yeah, there's a lot of that psyop stuff that goes along with this. With war in general, which a lot of it's pretty interesting. Yeah. At least my opinion, pretty interesting. Like, it's cool you can get a small unit to basically redirect a large force off their local fears and, fairy tales or whatever you want, superstitions. You know what I mean? You pick a couple guys up, do a few weird things to them. Next thing you know, nobody wants to come out and fight. Nobody wants to go out this way. You know what I mean? Like it's it's smart stuff. It really is.
Oh, that was the whole basis behind why Vlad Dracula did the whole impaling and stuff. It was to scare the shit out of the Muslims. When That's why he did it. Him and his brother were hostages of the Sultan or whatever he was in what was then Turkey and still is Turkey now, part of the Ottoman Empire. And Vlad and his brother went through hell as the hostages of this guy. Basically, their dad turned them over to this guy so that he wouldn't invade the principality that their dad ruled over. Vlad got out. His brother converted to Islam and joined their special forces, if you will, right? And it was Vlad's brother who was actually going to be the one leading the Islamic force against him. But because he was there in that area and he understood what went through the heads of these guys, the Muslim forces and everything, he was able to use that and combine that with the impalement of people who were rising up against him or were caught spying for the Ottomans and all that, and basically created the forest of the dead, is what they call it, where acres and acres and acres of just guys with sticks up their asses stuck into the ground. And the Muslims came across the border, saw that shit, and most of them turned and ran.
That video game I was talking about earlier, one of my characters is Vlad Tepes. And he's kind of like a vampire type dude. And then I made a female character to him, and I went to Google and I found Dracula's wife's name, queen's name or whatever, and that's what name I got her. And I got that like 20 years ago, dude, and like it's banned now, and like you can't use that name or anything. But I was able to pull it off way back in the day. My game won't let you use any like actual real name or biblical name or famous name or anything like that, but I got away with it.
What are you playing? Some woke ass game?
Actually, it might have a lot of woke ass to it, and unfortunately, there's things in my game that get changed so they have the ability to sell this game to foreign countries. A lot of other foreign countries have a lot different video game laws than we got. So,
yeah, that is true. I've heard about that. It's true.
But yeah, weird countries too, man. I'm not talking like mad at China or Russia or nothing. I mean like countries we're friendly with and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Saudi Arabia and countries like that.
Yeah, a lot of Central and South American countries got their laws too. Basically, you can't. My game got in trouble like it's not so much like against the religion, but my game has things that's anacaustic, and you can choose to be anacaustic, and like I guess that doesn't fly with them.
What's anacaustic?
I think this means agnostic.
Yeah, agnostic. Kind of like anti-religion, no matter what religion it is.
That's atheism.
Like sort of like that. Like no
agnostic
religion,
is more you don't think there's a God, but you're not sure.
Right. Yeah. The ones that are hostile are generally going to be your atheists.
Yes, that game I play, it's like you create a character like a person. You actually have to pick a religion, and it changes what type of character you are and what kind of magic and stuff you have based on your religion.
Can you join the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster? Or the Church of Fonzie?
Well, you can do about whatever you want. You can make your own stuff or your guild, but that's funny. But, I was going to say earlier, one good thing about it is, man, you can get drunk in this game. Like, you can make alcohol. You could moonshine your own alcohol. You could buy alcohol. You can walk up to the bar. And if, like, you drink alcohol, like you would drink water or consume food in this game or something. But it doesn't really, like, have a meter to tell you or anything, but you'll start drinking and keep drinking, and like you'll get drunk. Like when you go to walk, your guy will stumble and go sideways that you can't control, and then you keep on drinking, then you get like tunnel vision, and it like won't go away. And then like when you try to talk to other people, it'll come out like all garbled and shit. It's crazy. And it's and to make it extremely entertaining for the player, like maybe you sit there and click, and you got super drunk in like 10 minutes. Yeah, well, the game's going to treat it like real life, and like you're going to be too drunk to walk till tomorrow. Bye. Have a nice evening.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla are like that, and so is Baldur's Gate 3. You can get drunk in all 4 of those games too. Yeah.
Well, you can have
good luck trying to do anything.
In my game, you can have like celebrations, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, and like it's kind of like a YouTube thing, like a bunch of people, friends get together on this game, like they all know these two, like Snob and Stacy or something, and it's their anniversary. All of us meet on YouTube and have a party. This game's kind of like that too.
Like a Sims life or something. I mean, it's kind of what it sounds like. You get drunk, you got your friends, you hang out, you can just do normal day stuff.
It's life. I mean, you got to get you. It's life. Yeah, you got to rest. You got to eat. The day changes. The night changes. It's life. Yeah. It's weird. It's not like a Sims game. It's like World of Warcraft, but like World of Warcraft is kind of like if a kid can play it, and my game's kind of like more adults play it.
It's like a Conan the Barbarian sword and sorcery movie that doesn't end, and you play one of the parts in the movie.
It's role playing.
Yeah.
And they prefer that you role play. So like if I'm a player that's like Rob's called like a rogue, I'm a backstabber, I'm a lockpick, and I'm a thief. Okay. That's who my character is. So if I loot you and steal from you, don't be mad. You done know who I was. You know what I mean? Kind of sucks, but
I was a snake when you picked me up.
That's the difference between the real world and a video game. You know what I mean?
I don't know that there's any real difference there. It's pretty much the same.
Here's the thing, it's so real life. It takes like literally like years of like you gain experience, and you gain like whatever you keep doing, you get better at it. It doesn't come for free. Like it's practice. It takes literally years. I kind of cheated, and I have auto buttons in other programs that help me run everything at once. So like I do things like automatically that somebody else would have to like physically click and take time out of their life to do it. I kind of do it automatically. So like my thing, like I can just walk up to like you and click a button, and it's called pickpocketing, and like I'll take some of your money. I took it. You can't have it back. And if I'm in battle or something, the monster, the bad guy, I got a pretty good chance I can take click, and I'll just take the weapon right out of your hand. Sorry, I'm keeping this. I'm a born thief, man. I have a special ability to thieve.
I don't remember what video game it was I was playing, but I was playing a thief, rogue, but thief. I pickpocketed somebody and stole their armor.
See, we can't do stuff like that much anymore, but like when the game first came out and they didn't know, you could manipulate it and have so much fun doing shit like that to new people. Like Like one of the tricks I had a dude, I could basically turn myself into a coin. All right. Like instead of a person sitting there, I could turn myself into a coin. Now I'm just like a little silver quarter laying on the ground, right? And it's hard to come by money. And like you could just sit back and watch, and like everybody and their brother will walk by there and try to pick it up. Like, ooh, somebody dropped that, it's money. And like you can't pick me up because I'm a me. And I had another guy could turn himself into a tree. So I'd like block the door to get into a city and stuff. And people would like freak out and run all around, and we'd do shit like that.
Yeah, the game that I pickpocketed the dude's armor, I don't even think it's around anymore. It was called Night Online. This Turkish dude got all pissed off because I was playing a female character that I based off of a character from the Star Wars novels, right? So he was Turkish. There were a lot of Turkish people that played Night Online, and they could be some dickheads, I tell you. Anyway, he starts giving me a hard time, so his character walks away. I sneak up behind him and just steal his armor right off his body as he's walking away.
I had a good one, and I'll admit I got caught at it. Right, I was the victim, right, and since then I thought it was so funny that I sat around a couple times and did it, outside of a city. But like our game, you got stats and stuff, Rich, like wisdom, intelligence, strength, agility, shit like that, right? So when you start out like a newbie, level 1, 2, and 3, you ain't got shit for numbers, and like you just don't have the ability to get the equipment. So like you'll have stats like your guy really needs a lot of strength, but he's at like 0 strength or 5 or 10 or something. And you go get items and they're giving you like 1 strength plus 1 strength plus 2, 4. You're trying to get shit like that. There was some gear out there that had like crazy stats, like 15 wisdom, 15 intelligence, and all this stuff. People's like eyeballs. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, I gotta have that. But you didn't read the fine print when it said like negative 50 health points, and they only got brand new, like they only got like 10, 12, 15 hit points. And you're giving stuff away, and you give them that chest piece to put on, and they're like, oh wow, look at the wisdom, like I've never seen so much. They put it on and their character dies instantly.
Cursed armors are a fun thing to
There's a YouTube channel, Viva La Dirt League. They do skits about all these. It's pretty funny.
One thing you gotta learn in these games, if it's a game where the rogues can pickpocket you or if a mage can do something like what Jason was just saying, don't fuck around and piss people off. It's gonna come back and bite you in the ass.
Oh man, we used to have like murder for profit, man. Taxi for profit. I used to be a taxi driver. Taxi for profit, man. Like you always had the problems of getting killed in these games because of somebody else done something stupid. It's called training. Like they're running for their life, and there's 10 things chasing them to kill them, and they run by you, and the 10 things decide to fight you and leave him go. Right? So like you would be out hunting or doing what you're doing for the game, and somebody train you, and you guys get killed. You know what I mean? They'll bring something that like you can't handle, and you got killed. And this game ain't no like you get killed, start over game 1 or whatever. Fuck no, it could take you a couple hours to get back to where you was. All right. And you got to get back and get the stuff off your body. Like you're naked until you get back there. So not only did you got to like can't fight and got to run for your life to get to wherever, just to get your stuff. So like you would get murdered basically. And then all of a sudden there's this character like me that has the ability to transport you and zip you around so you don't have to run. And I don't mind showing up, and I'll come to where your body's at, and you'll pay me for the taxi ride to come back and get your stuff. Or you'll have a cleric there that can heal you that'll res you, but we want money for this. We're not doing this for free. Yeah, that was taxi murder for hire.
Yeah.
That was like a legitimate way to make an economy in the game. Like,
yeah, you would get that in World of Warcraft too. Wizards and stuff would go to wherever the instance entrance was or whatever you were going to be doing, and then they would call your whole group to that location with their magic. And then my dwarf hunter, he was a mercenary. I'd work for anybody on the Alliance side. And you pay me enough, I'll go through it. I'll run you through whatever you wanted when I was playing it. You know, you're a low level character and some horde asshole came up behind you and PvP'd you while you're just training. You know, like AC/DC song, "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap." Pay me, I'll take care of the problem.
yeah, EverQuest always had that. The real main problem is, I don't know. I guess it's facts of life. Like, if I'm a higher level than you are, like I could pretty much do whatever I want. You can't stop me. You know what I'm saying? You'll
Yep.
never kill a higher level above you. Like, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
so what? I killed you and you're mad at me, or I called your name in the game. There's not much you can do about it. I'll just go kill you again, and you can't stop me. You see, you know what I mean? The bully wins. Yep. The bully wins.
That was what my role was, to go and kill those bullies. Yeah, that guy came. Oh, he did that. Okay, here, give me this, and then I'll go take care of that problem through the area for you.
Yeah, the one-on-one, the bully always wins. It doesn't matter if there's like 10 of you, if you still ain't his level, bully wins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to piss bully off, like, he can really make sure he wins. He can go get something that kills him, like I said, and train it right by you. And so, like, yeah, pays to be polite sometimes.
Yep. You know, just remember, just because you're able to pick on a low level character doesn't mean there's not a character that can pick on you.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, you see, that's part of my one thing though. Like I said, like, even people in the game, if you're there by yourself, or there's 2 or 3 of you, and like you're in somebody else's favorite spot, but you're there first, like, there's gonna be words, you know what I mean? But then, like, they look over and they show me, and there's a whole group. There's 6 of us. There's 7 of us. They don't really know if it's one person or it's 7 different people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because we're all got our guild names up and everything, like they get less mouthy. You know what I mean?
Yep. Anyway, on that note, we've been going for almost 3 hours. I think it's time to start wrapping this up. So, start with Rob. What was that, Jason?
Go to Rob first.
Okay. Rob, what you got, buddy? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, just, thanks for joining us. Eat a salad. Check the eclipse out if you can. And that's pretty much it. Have a great evening.
How about you, Foss? What you got?
I ain't saying nothing. You can't make me.
Look here, you silly squirrel. Oh, no, you're not silly squirrel. You're secret squirrel. Yes.
First roll of secret squirrel. Don't talk about secret squirrel.
Can we talk about Morocco Mole?
I ain't saying that because I don't know who it is.
Secret squirrel psychic. He was a little, it was a mole. Yeah, fat mole. Yeah, wore a fez, had kind of like a Moroccan accent kind of thing going on. Wore like a red.
Moroccan mole. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like Peter Lorre.
Yeah, he wore like a red smoking jacket. So did the Chief, for that matter. Depending on which era of Secret Square you're talking about, whether it was the original or the remakes that were part of the one Cartoon Network show. The original Chief was a human, and then in the Cartoon Network series of shorts, it was a water buffalo, I believe. Anyway, so you don't got any shows or anything coming up?
Wednesday. Sometime Wednesday. So if you just leave it on my channel, I'll come on. I'll appear at some point in time.
So, yeah, Wednesday night, everybody, you just got to put it on Faust's channel and just leave it there. It'll show up eventually. All right. Thanks for being on, Faust. How about you, Jason? Anything you want to say before we get out of here? How's your mom doing? Better, I hope.
Oh yeah, man. Wanted to say, man, had a good time being on. I know I ain't been on in a while. So I talked too much and I drank like literally 2 or 3 days of solid free coffee. So sorry about that, but I had a good time, man. Good to get hooked back up with you guys.
Yeah, did you get your package opened?
Oh my gosh, Rich, yeah. Man, those are awesome. That really tickled me, man. That Taylor and Company one, man, that's good enough to like put a frame on and hang up. Literally the one book kind of like I could just point it kind of looked like a picture catalog of my inventory. And then the guns and ammo book, man, that's pretty cool. I got most of the stuff that they've wrote full articles on. It's almost like they took pictures of my guns. So man, that is like really cool, man.
Yeah, those were other than the Tillers and Co. The rest of that was all stuff that Colt was giving away at their booth.
Yeah, man, that just went. That was cool, man. That fits right up my alley. I mean, perfect, dude. I mean, just
yeah. I thought you would.
Literally, it's like a magazine. You open it up, and it's like whole articles, like praising your gun. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
And you got that. Did you like the pin too?
Yeah, that pin's cool. I actually don't have that pin at all. I think the only Colt pin I have is it looks like it's Python. It's just got the Python revolver. Yeah, man. That stuff's real cool. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, glad you liked it, man.
Yeah, man. Those all of them are cool, man. Like I said, those to me it's a little special because like that's just cool, that book. I didn't get a chance to read any, but was just staring at like what was going on. And like I mean, it's like literally like, ooh, I got that one. Ooh, I got that one. So it really, I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, I was hoping that would cheer you up a little bit with everything that had been going on with your mom and everything, So glad you liked it. So on that note, we will bid adieu for this week. I still haven't gotten the video filmed on the grip and whatnot for the AR-15 that I got from Good American Outdoor Show. I'll get around to it at some point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it this week or not. So, but just keep watching and it'll be posted up at some point. But I don't know when. So I can't give you an exact day and time. But, yep, until next week, have a good night and we will catch y'all later. And thanks to Faust for what you're all are about to watch because he's the one who put it together.